Well, a very good afternoon, everyone. Today, Saturday, the 26th of January. Here we are for another live stream. It's been nearly 2 weeks since the last one. I've been extremely busy in the sim and doing a couple of other extra courses at work as well. But here we are. We're going to do a 2-sector today, which will be a bit fun. I haven't actually opened Explain 11 since my last stream, so I briefly spoke to ZIBO, saw what the latest version was. So we got this beta version. 3.32 Echo 4. I lose count of which beta versions we have, which brings some mostly small fixes to LNAV, VNAV I've been reading about, and also a very basic version of a panel save state, so you'll be able to save your panel and save flights and then be able to resume at a later time, which would be quite cool to use, but we probably won't test that feature today. Today we'll be going from Reus, which is just to the west of Barcelona. Then we'll fly to Alicante, flight time of about 40 minutes, and then from Alicante I'll take a quick 10-minute break, turn around, and then we'll continue once to Malaga, where the flight time's again about 45 minutes or so. There is an event on in Malaga which starts in an hour, so we should get full ATC as we approach the airport, and again I will try and answer as many questions as possible. So a live weather, live time. Here we are in Reus. This scenery was completely free by, I can't remember who it's by. Someone sent it to me who knows the chap or something, and it's in the description below. But yeah, for freeware scenery, it's really good. And I flew to Reus many years ago, and I remember seeing it just like this. It looks really, really good. So we're going to jump into the flight deck. We're completely cold and dark, so we'll pop the battery on. We'll talk about the routing and all that fun stuff later. Get the GPU up and running. There we go. We'll do this a little bit more realistically, so we like to do that. So battery on, pop the electric hydraulic pumps on, verify the landing gear levers down. We've got the 6 green lights, and check all the documentation. We can now do the fire test. Oh, I'm just getting my head around it because I've been away from Explain for a while. I've forgotten the shortcuts. Right, so we could do the fault test, master caution overheat detector, and do the fire tests. There's all the fire warning lights. It's all looking good. Onto the overhead panel. We can put the seatbelt signs on because I've already refueled. Test the attend button. Auto brake to RTO. Reset. We usually do that a bit later. Just do that now. Check the flap lever matches the flap indicator position. Now do the cargo fire test. There we go, forward aft discharge, and the fire warning light is illuminated. Checking all the pedestal down here. Check the manual gear extension door is closed and latched. Check the circuit breakers. Emergency escape ropes up here. Stall warning tests, Mac warning tests, which is always delayed in the mod for some reason. Pop that off, VHF1 on the observers ACP panel, nav. 7 minutes for the alignment, emergency escape rope for the captain, and then the circuit breaker's here too. We'll start the boarding process too as well. So click this, start flight leg. Excellent. So I'm going to look at some of the questions here. Evergreen, they are making a 737 MAX using ZIBO's mod. Yeah, I think MAX is in the pipeline for ZIBO, not sure. That's it. Fabby's in the stream as well. You are often observing these, so hello to you. Michael Kitchen, the HUD has been ditched. Yeah, I've gotten rid of the heads-up display, but I'm sure it's still there. Evergreen, how do I flip to all the different views? So on my number pad on my keyboard, I have different assignments. So 1 is captain's view, 9 is the first officer's, 4 is the overhead panel, 5 is the upper overhead panel, and I have them all pre-signed to all the most important views. I've recently done a visual approach in the mod using LNAV VNAV. It was a bit low on profile, but within the 400 feet. Ah, well, yeah, visual approach. I've never actually tried using LNAV and VNAV in the mod, but we can have that go. Cool. So let's go back up with the rest of setup. So we can now do the lights test. There we go. Starting on the panel here, and then working your way down onto the overhead panel, checking all the lights illuminated on the MCP2. All looking good. You can check the auto throttle and autopilot status lights too. They're all working correctly. Excellent, all looking a-okay. Right, back to right. Now we can test the oxygen masks, which is here. This is a, as I've always said, this is a different oxygen mask to what I'm used to. We have 3 positions on our masks: emergency, 100%, and normal. So we leave it in the 100% function and test all 3 features. And then whilst you're doing that, you check your crew oxygen. Make sure that doesn't stop dropping off. There's a table in the FCOM which you can use to see what the minimum dispatch requirements are for the amount of crew oxygen. So the less crew members in the flight deck, you can have up to 4 people in there, the less amount of oxygen you require. But yeah, you should be okay in your desktop simulator anyway. Oxygen we've done. We can now set up the MCP, so EFIS panel, sorry, so train, airports, QNH, which I need to get. My phone is currently 1015. There we go. It's a lovely day all in Spain at the moment. Cav okay. Pretty much clear skies everywhere. So QNH is now set, and the rest we've done. Check the clock. That matches the time. We're live time at the moment, 15:38 UTC. Pop on some lights as well. And then we could pretty much jump into the FMC. So let's talk about the routing we're going to have today as well. So here's our operational flight plan from SimBrief. It's a real world, very much based off the Lido flight plan we use at the airline I work for, which you're all very familiar with. It's a very short flight. We're actually going to cruise at 230. It went to 240 initially, and then it was a step descent down. Very short distance, 223, 4.3 tons of fuel, not much, so we're going to take a little bit of extra because it is VATSIM, just in case a few people are following us on our way into Alicante. So we'll take an extra 20 minutes of fuel, which is about 800 kilos on top of that, so we've got 5-1 or so on board. And here's the rest of the information we'll look at later. I want to look at the routing. There we go. So here we are. Barcelona's about here geographically. Here's Reus. We're going to go pretty much following the east coast of Spain. Here's the Mediterranean. You've got Ibiza, Palma, and Menorca. And then here's Alicante. Expecting runway 28 there as well. Byron Tor, thank you very much for the membership and for directly supporting the channel. Thank you very much. I hope you enjoy the community posts. I do try and post at least once a week with what I'm up to in the real world as well. So that's all in there with the routing. Now let's go into the FMC and load the flight plan. So look at the charts in a second. And we need the first page. There we go. So we'll pop this out. Well, actually, I'll probably mostly copy the flight plan because I've got it printed off straight in front of me, but I'll make reference to this. Oh my goodness me. This is like having the first officer hold the iPad for you. Oh dear me. There we go, there's the new membership. So FMC. Right, we're currently in Reus. That's Lima Echo Romeo Sierra. Our GPS position. Here's the coordinates. We're going to Alicante, Lima Echo Alpha Lima. And our call sign is Broadsword 01. Our departure today will be runway 25. Wind's pretty much straight down the runway in Reus at the moment, 240 at around 15 knots or so. Tom, how are you? Always donating. Thank you very much for the 50 Norwegian kroner. Got to catch this one up later. Out with the missus. Have a nice trip. No problem at all. And I saw you message me on Facebook, so I'll get back to you as soon as possible on your query. Yeah, I had to plead to go on streaming today, so we went out for lunch, and I was like, my other half was like, yeah, we can go out for, you can stream later, but only if we go out for lunch. I was like, all right, let's go out for lunch then, and then I was allowed to do this, so all good in the hood. What's our SID today? It's the Ebrox 1 Tango, which should be, here we go, Ebrox 1 Tango. Right, the routing then, get back into here. Next page, there we go. So it's not much to put in today, which is always nice. It's a, oh no, this is the second flight plan. I've just completely looked at the wrong flight plan and told you our routing. Whoops. 4.212. There we go, Ebrox 1 Tango, Ebrox, and then it's Bravo 28 to Valencia, which is the arrival, so that's the only routing information we have pretty much. And Valencia, Victor, Lima, Charlie. Our arrival then, it's going to be the VOR approach for runway 28. It could shift around to be runway 10. I was just looking at the weather in reality in Alicante, and there's two approaches for VOR 28 in Alicante. One of them straight in, which is fine. That's what we do in real life. We do the VOR Zulu for runway 28, but we're going to do the VOR X-ray. Why is that? Because it's 20 degrees offset. It's a bit more exciting to fly, so we'll do that. Not that we choose that in real life, but we'll do it in the stream. We'll have a look at that approach later. The transition we'll use is via Bessor, which I'm a little bit familiar with. Right, so we can execute that. So much for moving the iPad, because I didn't really make that much reference to it. I can't remember if there was a quick way of putting it back into its holder. You guys are probably more aware of that. There we go. Cool, so the FMC is loaded. I think I've preloaded the fuel all correctly, so fuel weight and balance. With 19.1 tons, I've completely, fully loaded the aircraft, so we've got 182 passengers. The fuel's already preloaded, which is, because we haven't got that much fuel, it's only a takeoff weight of about 66 tons, so we're fine today. But yeah, absolutely based on a fully loaded aircraft, this flight. So performance, our zero fuel weight 60.5, the reserves are 2 tons. Our reserves are for an airport called Murcia, which is just to the south of Alicante, so if we can't get in, we'll go there. Our cruise level was flight level 230. We can execute that. So now the cruise wind is, top of climb wind, sorry, 328 at 34 knots. I actually asked ZIBO, because someone was asking last stream, does putting this information have any impact on anything? It has some, it's a very basic model, so when it looks at the winds it can alter things ever so slightly, but it does work, ISA deviation is, I've just shut the page I wanted, it is plus 2 degrees. There we go. OPT, I've done the performance already. It's full 22k, which should give us 92.0. 22. Oops, what's the outside temperature? 17 degrees. 22k, 92.7. Now the reason there's a difference is because there's no APU on, there's no bleed supply. So this is correct. 92.0 is what the OPT is. Without bleed it says 92.8. So yeah, it's within 0.1. Now I have noticed with the mods, if you take an assumed temperature reduction, so if we take an assumed temperature of 40, oops, it says 89.8. I've got, oh no, it's actually quite close now, 88.7. It's about 0.2 off. So actually, someone messaged me saying the N1 was off for the ATM, but it looks pretty close to me. It's 0.2, 0.3 off what I have on the OPT. So that's fine. That's our takeoff thrust setting today. For flap 5, our V speeds, I've got 140, 140, 144 in the OPT, so they're a couple of knots off. We should use them, the OPT speeds, if they're with more than one knot, but they're fine in the mod for this. And we can set V2 here, which is 146. Now, before I do the rest of the setup, I'll answer some questions. So I'm quite busy here. Ever heard of the MD-11 coming out? No, I've not seen that. First officer Shimmy, flight sim. In the left, if the tablet click twice the pole with 2 pen holders, that's how you get it back quicker. I knew that was to get rid of it, but does that actually... Oh, that just gets rid of it. Oh, but it does put it back. That's fantastic. Thank you very much, First Officer Shimmy. Exot ICHE, is the latest ZIBO mod not working with older explained versions? No, I think you need the latest version, 1130. Crazy Ice Killer Clown Hazamataz, is the Dubai scenery worth it? Yes, I actually bought that for the stream a couple of streams ago. It's a really nice scenery. I think it's worth it if you want to go fly into Dubai quite a bit. Right, so FMC's loaded for now. We can now go into the upper overhead panel. Yaw damper on. 4 fuel pumps on. Check the crossfeed valve. That goes from bright to dim, and then from bright, dim, bright, and then off. Don't know what this does. AC/DC metering panel, we don't really check that as in the 800 or the NG much, because it's quite a reliable electrical system, but you can check your 115 AC volts and stuff if you've got technical problems. Armed on, and pop the window heat on now as well. Electric hydraulic pumps are on, and trim air is on. Got the packs in auto, isolation valves open. We're cruising at 230. Excuse me. And then our land altitude in Alicante, I think it's 150 off the top of my head. That was to go to steady, and now we can go on to the MCP. Right, so home, Avitab, and we want airport. So here's Reus Airport in Spain. We are nice simple airport for me, so I could clearly, or if I get lost here, I'm not doing terribly well, so I quite like simple airports. We're on stand 1, right in the corner here. It's going to be Pushback to face northeast, and then we'll go all the way full lane for runway 25 via Delta Romeo or Delta Lima. And what we want to take here is the heading number 249, which is the runway QDM. So we can pop 249 in here. That is now set. There is a stop altitude, but I don't think there's any ATC at the moment, so we're just going to put our cruise level in here straight up to 230. Flight director's on, and let's have a look at the SID. Now the SID we're flying is the, what did I rate it? Ebrox 1 Tango. So we're going to climb straight ahead from the Reus VOR. It's then outbound 240 radial until we're 4.5 miles away. It's a left turn on a heading of 127 to go towards Canby, and then we make a slight left turn on the 174 radial to Ebrox. So it's a bit of a funny routing. I have no idea why there's a little jinx here in the turn, but you'll have to ask the Spanish airport authorities when they built this SID as to why that is. But we can put 14.2 as the active frequency. There we go. That is now set. Pop the lights up on here as well. And what should we have as our tracks? We can have 240 and 178, because they're the first tracks we need to do. So 240, 178. That just ensures in the event of us losing the FMC or RNAV capability, we can conventionally navigate. We always, the airline I work for is a setup to, if available, to set up the navigators for raw data. Right, so that's all good. Done all that, done all that, done all that. We then check the rudder and aileron trim for each sector, but I'm not going to do that in the mod because it'll probably mess up my trim. Perfect, so now we've got the aircraft pretty much set up, ready to go. This is when we do all our briefings, so we'll step through exactly what we do at the airline I work for. You'd step through the routing information, the PM would read the flight plan, the PF would check each waypoint, and once he's satisfied that all works, he'd execute the flight plan, which I've already done. So as a gross error check, we can just check here the ground distance, which is 247 miles. If we go to the progress page, you can see it's 223. Now, so long as it's sensible, that's fine. It's probably because we've got slightly different routing on the SID or STAR than in reality on the OFP. So that's fine, we'd execute the flight plan. Cross-check all the instrumentation, making sure the clock matches, the altimeter's the same both sides, and the flight directors are on. Make sure all the standby instruments are set. We then do a brief takeoff briefing explaining your actions. So it'll be a left-hand seat takeoff, runway 25. We'll use flat 5 departure, noise abatement departure, procedure 2, and then we'll fly the rest of the departure. Emergencies would then be briefed by both the captain and first officer. We've briefed the taxi, and we've already briefed the SID as well. So at this point, we can pop on the APU, and whilst that's starting, we'll get the better pushback organised as well. So that's home. Ground services, better pushback pre-plan. So we'll do something like that. I see someone else is already online next to us, which is quite cool. Oh, actually, no, I don't want to do that. How do I delete something like this? There we go. And then rotate it here. Perfect. Enter. Love it. Little
Ready.
Spanish accent as well, and we can get him all attached as well. So we go ground services. Better pushback. How do I? Oh yeah, connect first. There we go. Message on VATSIM private from Gatwick Ground. Hello, enjoying the stream as always. Thanks a lot. I'll reply to you verbally. Perfect. So that's it. Pushback is on its way. Now I'm just going to check on line on VATSIM, see if there is any ATC coverage in my sector at the moment. There isn't. There's no one here in this sector, neither in Alicante. But as we obviously get towards Malaga, we'll have ATC there. So it might be quite a quiet flight in regards to ATC. But I do understand that's how VATSIM works. What was that generic frequency? Is it 122.8? If I'm not talking to anyone. Oops. I'll pop that on there so we can at least chat to tell everyone what our intentions are, who's nearby. Perfect. So that's the Unicom frequency. Was it 1228? I think it is. Perfect. So he's ready to go for the pushback. Let's get the APU up and running. You should have to wait a minute for that. Right, I have a funny feeling I've forgotten something. We'll probably find out after we've taken off, but I've got a funny feeling I've forgotten something. We'd obviously have to do all the checklists, make sure we're happy with both pilots. But if we screwed something up, we'll soon find out. Ifran Ahmed, when is a flap 15 departure needed? Usually for performance reasons. At my airline, it's flap 5 is the default takeoff flap settings. Higher flap settings like 15 and 25 are for short runways, where your takeoff field length limited, and a lower flap setting like flap 1 is when your climb obstacle limited. Generally, the lower the flap setting, the higher risk of a tail strike, because especially on the 800 and 900, because of the length of the aircraft. X-Plane Port, hello from Key CDA, I'm not sure which airport that is, sounds somewhere in America, and hello from Oscar Papa Lima Alpha, so hello from all your respective airports. Paul Vittoria, is your alternative the old San Javier Murcia or the new Murcia? It's the old San Javier, the one that used to be a military airport, I think, Lima Echo, Lima Charlie, so I don't think the new one's there. Yeah, 122.8, excellent. So APU's on, and up and running, right. Do this, add collision light on. Parking brake is, it's actually released, it should be set for now, and then out off. Excellent, so I'm meant to now right, aren't I? Pushback, Lima Echo Romeo Sierra Stand 1 for runway 25. That lets everyone know at least what I'm up to. Cool. Perfect. Yoni Wood, which airline do you fly for? If you're obviously new to this stream, I don't disclose such information. It might be very obvious, but I just choose not to say who I work for, although the operator I do currently work for is well aware of what I'm up to. It might be 2XL. It could be, you never know. Cool. So it looks like KLM is also pushing back from Reus for runway 25. So I'll follow him, possibly. I think they're all good out there, so we'll release the parking brake. Perfect. GPU disconnect, did I not do that? Oh, very good, well spotted, my friend. Excellent, there we go. Why am I not being pushed back? Oh, I forgot what I forgot. We'll see, we might have to self-position if this pushback doesn't work. Better pushback, pre-plan. Oh, that's not looking good. Oh, request pushback. It looks like it. In fact, I think maybe because I selected connect first, it might have deleted what my plan was.
Connected and bypass being inserted. Release parking brake.
There we go. There we go. Release parking brake. That should get him going now. Hopefully. Excellent.
And you may start engines.
Ifran Ahmed, could you do a tutorial on the radio and nav radios? Now, if you look in my videos, I have a SID departure tutorial, which is quite a good one to explain how we tune frequencies to do that. I don't actually have a basic one regarding radio navigation, but it's something we could possibly look at in the future. But I am really busy. It's easier for me to stream at the moment, guys, because I have quite limited time. Cool. So, there's N2 rotation. rotation. There's the oil pressure. Now, at the moment, Twerkster, who's the very clever guy in the ZIBO team, he's a wealth of experience, a very qualified pilot, he's flown every aircraft. He's completely rebuilding all of the new thrust settings. At the moment we've got a basic model, but with the new X-Plane 1130, there's been the ability to model N2 as well, and N2 and N1 independently more realistically, so it should give you far more better or realistic engine starts at the moment, because at the moment it's quite quick. It's a little bit too quick, but it will be coming out soon. Perfect, so there's the N2 rotation again for engine number 1. And there's oil pressure N1, perfect. Excellent. Actually, I need to send you the link for the new Flight 8 Sim livery, because it now has transparent windows so you can see through it. Cool, so Pushback's looking good. And there we go. Yeah, probably by the time, if you're still around going into Malaga, it will be dark later. It will be night time. Cool. So there's traffic ahead of us.
Operation complete. Set parking brake.
So parking brake is set. Disconnect tow bar bypass pin. And advise when clear. Generators are on. You can just turn the APU off, but that's all we do at that stage there. Max NGX, when is the new flush update coming out? I'm not 100% sure. I need to talk to Twagster about it when that's coming out. But all of us are extremely busy. Chaz Smash, is it possible to hot start the engines? Yeah, you could potentially get a hot start. Now, the CFM certainly on the 737 are really reliable. I've never had any. Well, no, I've had one aborted engine start in my career where we had no N1 rotation. That's what we call a hung start after adding fuel. But hot start is where the EGT exceeds really quickly. Now, the EEC will offer protection against that, but we shut the engine down before the EEC allows that to happen. Perfect. So let's do the forward taxi panel flow, panel scan flow. That's all good. Flaps 5. Excellent. Flight controls. Full forwards. Full back. Left, centre, right, centre. The rudders. Full left, centre. Full right, centre. Recall, and then you would read the before taxi checklist. Excellent, so there's our man. He's shown us the bypass pin, so we know that the nose wheel steering's working, which is always very important to confirm that you have that. Excellent, Fabi Hansi, I saw you did answer this question earlier. During the visual approach, I want to go back in VNAV. It went for 1,000 feet per minute, like when in normal descent, which would lead to being way too low. How would the real aircraft? Now, in VNAV, on approach, it should exactly match the vertical profile. There shouldn't be any difference there. It should just follow the VNAV path profile. Now, I've not had any problems with that previously. Now, we're going to do an unprecision approach into Alicante, so we can test that there. It will behave in the same way in regards to a vision approach. Perfect. So, these guys know how to do the text properly. So, you put LERS, traffic, taxiing to runway 25. And the point is... whole point is... we'll put via Tango. Cool. So it looks like a couple of people that might have joined for the stream, or they're just here anyway, but all good. Right. Parking brake release, turn off and taxi, config check. Good. No takeoff config warning. Oh, now let's go. Sector number 1 underway. I've actually been really looking forward to this stream. I saw this event about a couple of weeks ago on the last stream. I was like, I really want to make sure I do this. So I knew I was off, but I wasn't absolutely sure until this morning if I was have the time to do it. But managed to rearrange a few things and get things done, and I was like, yeah, I've got the next 4 hours to go test the mod and catch up with the followers. Perfect. So we're on our way to the holding point. My sort of taxi, nice straight line, can't get lost. We'll give way to the KLM aircraft. It looks like he's taxiing on ahead of us. Boss Air, the Alicante scenery is quite cool. Yeah, we did a stream from Alicante to La Rochelle a few months back. I think this is the first one we've done into Alicante. Well, I did one once, but I don't think the stream saved properly. We did a short one for Valencia a while back. But yeah, this will be quite nice, and if we've caught the time right, it'll be just during sunset, so it should look pretty good. And it's completely clear skies all over Spain today, so so we can enjoy the Ortho 4XP scenery. Excellent. So we could do the before takeoff checklist. So config we've checked, flaps we have 5 with the green light, snap trim set for takeoff, just set something like that. Don't worry about that so much in the mods. I mean, we use a load document to do that, that's fine. Takeoff briefing, well, 2 seconds, I just want to check something there. The packs are in auto, bleeds are on, the V-speeds are set for takeoff, 42, 42, 46, and V2 is set. The departure is the Ebrox 1 Tango. We're going to go straight ahead to 4.5 miles from Reus, and a left turn 127 heading to intercept the 178 radial from Reus, climbing straight up to flight level 230. Raphael Anson coming in with 11 Norwegian kroner tip donation. Thank you very much for the support, directly supporting the channel. That goes towards all the nice pretty sceneries and things like that, so I really appreciate that. Thank you very much. So we're going to soon be up the KLM's APU soon. Not a problem. So you can see here's the Reus VOR. If it's there exactly, I'm not 100% sure, but you'll notice as we taxi past it, the needles will swing round just here, which just is as it works in real life. If Fran Ackerman, I always get lost in airports. Yes, complex airports can be difficult, and I remember flying into Barcelona for the first time, as did the captain. It was both our first time there, and we really had to take our time to make sure we're going the right way. So don't feel surprised if you're confused, because when we go to complex airports the first time, you have to really take your time, look at the chart carefully, stop the aircraft if you're not sure. So it's normal. Perfect. Excellent. Probably on the grass now. X Carly Toos, do you recommend CAE or FTE? Is FTE Jerez, isn't it? I went to Oxford Aviation Academy, which is now CAE, and they were a good flight training school. No complaints there. We've got a new member coming in as well, Darren A. Thank you very much for the membership and directly supporting the channel. I hope you enjoy custom stuff on the chat and the community members only posts as well. So thank you very much for that. Welcome. That thing's going to go off in a second and make me jump. There we go.
Minimums. Approaching minimums.
Brilliant. Uh-oh, I can actually hear the dog outside my office door. I think he wants to come in, but we'll leave him out today. Yoni Wood Productions, how did you make your own livery? I didn't, I'm afraid. I don't have such IT skills or editing skills. It was made by one of my subscribers, a really, I always forget his name, really nice guy, Polish guy. And it is available. I'll try and find the link for that later on in the stream. But yeah, it's a really cool scenery, cool livery, made that for me. Perfect. So we'll mention on here that we're lining up. There's traffic. Runway 25 lining up. There we go. I feel like a VATSIM Pro doing this. Right, so let's now line up, do the checklist below the line. Imagine we've got them cleared to take off, so we're all looking good here. MCP is set. Transponder is set to TARA. Strobe lights are on, landing lights on. The before takeoff checklist is complete. I've just got to move my rudder pedals because it's bashing into my desk. I need to move them back a bit. There we go. Oh, I see Xaviator in the chat. Buenas tardes, flight 8 to Sim. It's good to see you on the live stream for the first time. Looking forward to the arrival into Alicante and onwards to Malaga. Yes, I'm guessing you are of Spanish origin. Oh, was based in Alicante many, many years ago. Perfect. So when you're lining up like this, don't feel like you have to follow the taxi line. You would do if it was an expeditious lineup, if you've got immediate clear off. But if you want to use as much runway, you can kind of line up 90 degrees and then do a bit of a steep turn. But there's no issue with runway length here in Reus. Perfect.
On runway 25.
Excellent. Let's get it all lined up nicely. Very tentative lineup, but want to make sure we're all looking the right way. There we go. Excellent. So all good, ready to go. Right. Checklist complete. Flaps are set. All good. Now let's start the timer. Excellent. Let's go to Alicante. So stand nose thrust levers up to 40%. Wait until they've gone down, all this matching, all stabilised, all looking good. You can push toga, which I actually have assigned on my joystick. There we go, toga, set to take off thrust. Light forward pressure on the control column. There we go, 88.8 set, take off thrust set indications normal.
80 knots.
Checked. Good.
V1.
So that's V1, hand off the thrust lever and rotate 2 to 2.5 degrees per second. That's a little bit quick, but pull through that dead band up to 15 degrees and neutralise the rudder. Positive rate of climb gear up and then trim onto that flight director. Look at that, into the sun. You'd have your sun visor down today, that would be really bright.
400.
LNAV. The heading of 240 to 4.5 miles from Reus. All looking good. We can now bug up.
1000.
Just hand fly for a little bit. So again, that flight director pitch bar is a little bit aggressive pitching down, but we'll just smoothly transition onto the flight director. Cool, so we can now select flap 1. There's the flap 1 bug. We can now select flaps up, begin pitching up now to maintain the up speed initially. And that's a bit of an early left turn from the flight directors. We should be waiting until, is it 4.5 miles from Reus? Instead we're only 3.7, but we'll turn anyway. So it's a bit of an early turn from the mod. Excellent. Let's do a nice little fly past whilst hand flying. Wouldn't recommend this. There we go. Nice. That didn't get too off the flight directors. Cool. So we'll engage the autopilot now. There's Command A, and we can now bug 250. We can select VNAV now. Set standard as we're climbing to a flight level, passing a 3-3 or 3-4 flight level 230 after takeoff checklist. So start switches to auto and the gear to off, auto brake to off for now. Carefully check the pressurization, so air conditioning and pressurization. Diff pressures on 1.9 psi. I'm up to 230. Duct pressures looking good. Temperatures are fine. So air conditioning and pressurization is set. And then we do an altimetry cross check, verify we have the standard set for the flight level, passing 4 to flight level 230, and that's it. The after takeoff checklist is complete. Release the cabin crew. There we go. And off we go to Alicante. So we've got that traffic ahead of us. I should think that was the KLM aircraft. And to our left hand side, Barcelona will be up the coastline here. Barcelona will be up there. We're going pretty much straight over the Mediterranean Sea. Lovely. Oh, there's a ship down there. Nice. Aircraft carrier challenge. I remember when I was much younger, played Flight Sim. Who here didn't try and land a 747 on an aircraft carrier? I think everyone here did. Cool. There's the other view as well. Nice. So there's top of climb, not too far away, and then top of descent's just here as well. We'll get an update and have a look at what runway would be in use in Alicante. But when I left, it was kind of marginal 2810. It's kind of like a direct crosswind. At the moment, the latest wind in Alicante is showing 180 at 9. So they probably switched to runway 10 in Alicante today. Right now, but I'm going to probably try 28 because the forecast wind is to be westerly. Not until a bit later, but yeah, it'd probably be still runway 28. If someone goes on flight radar and tell me what they're using in real life, we'll land on that runway for ultimate realism, seeing there's no ATC at the moment. Well, heading book. Cool. So you can see on the SID, there we are, on our way towards Canby, and from Canby we'll make that slight left turn to intercept the 174 radial to Ebrox. So we'll punch in 174 here. We wouldn't routinely change the courses to follow the radials, it's just to demonstrate how we're tracking the VOR there. Perfect, so there's 100 for flight level 230, pre-cruise check, so fuel, 4 pumps, we can now put all the forward-facing lights off, APU's off, pressurisation 4.2, set. We can now release the passengers, recall, and the pre-cruise checks complete. Alibaba, is it easy to land the 737? Well, this is the only commercial aircraft I've ever landed, and from I obviously now know how to land it. So for me, it's reasonably easy. But I've spoken to people that've flown Airbus and Embraers, all that stuff, and they say the 737 is a little trickier to land than other aircraft. It's because of the length of it, and it's a very unforgiving aircraft. If you are not over the right point of the threshold, the right speed, right rate of descent, I'd say it will punish you, but it will not land how you want it. You have to treat it with a bit of respect, especially if you are less than VREF or on VREF, and you check, it can sometimes not really pitch up that much, and you have quite a firm landing. But yeah, I have occasionally a very firm landing on the line. I'm like, oh, that didn't go so well. Get some funny looks, as do very experienced captains, you know. So yeah, from a point of view, it is once you apply the correct technique, but every approach is slightly different. Broken Brain Guy, how is the first officer's FMC used for when the captain has the flight plan already loaded in theirs? Is it a backup with the same flight plan, or does it have an alternate plan? So you have two FMCs, they are both independent from each other, but any changes you make in one of the FMCs will make a change in the other one as well. Now, it doesn't, a lot of the roles people don't understand is Captain FO, it's not, it's pilot flying, pilot monitoring, so you just rotate that in each sector. So the pilot flying would generally have, in the airline I work for, the phase of flight, so we're in the climb phase now, and pilot monitoring would generally have the legs page for routing, and he would make all the routing modifications in the FMC. So that's how that works. Now, why is it on page 1 of the legs we've got this then box? Makes me think I've got some sort of discontinuity, but I think that shouldn't be there. Just check here. Plan. Step. Yeah, there should be going direct Bessor after Valencia. There we go. That'll do, perfect. That's pretty much the arrival. And you can see this offset approach I'm planning to fly, this 20-degree offset, which is quite cool. Just for a bit of bants. Excellent. CKY 139, is your PC, gaming PC, the same as your streaming PC? Yeah, this is all on one PC. I did look into doing that, but I basically have my PC running this, and to my left I have my laptop, which is how I'm reading all the chats as well. I keep needing to get a second monitor, but I just don't have the space on my desk for a second monitor, because I've got a IKEA desk. Now, where are we going? Has it overshot the line here? That's not ideal. Mention that to ZIBO. Oh, there is an aircraft carrier there. So it's kind of gone a bit like that, but that was just intercepting that radial, I think, and then it was making the turn. But I'm just going to go direct to Lotos, execute. There we go. It's already sequenced the next waypoint. So I've just noticed the mod has sequenced the next waypoint. So Tordu, it should only do that once you're directly overhead the next waypoint, when it's at 0 nautical miles. It's done that a little bit early there, so I'll mention that as well. Not sure I've not seen it do that before. So yeah, these flights are good for, because I make notes for ZIBO and I usually try and message as soon as possible. Anything I see that's a bit unusual. So, sequence waypoint. Cool. Fly off 2, flight radar shows Alicante using westerly. Perfect, so we'll use runway 28. Excellent, so there we go, 20,000 feet. It's a bit misty and murky, but we are over the Mediterranean Sea, so there's the coastline. Can look a bit like this here, so probably not so great for all for XP, but we are using live weather, using active skies, so it's probably just like that right now. Theo, or are you doing the Schiphol Frankfurt event later? No, I won't be. I did see there was a few events today, but I had the Malaga one planned for a while. Right, vertical speed, we'll slow it right down to 1,000 feet per minute. Perfect. We'll get rid of the SIDS and star plates. We can now fire up Alicante. There we go. And the arrival, which is going to be the Valencia. Where is it? Is it not in order? Oh, there we go. Valencia to Lima 2 November. I want the Valencia 1 Romeo. Where is that? We can do one of these though. They're very, very similar. There we go. Valencia 1 Romeo. And it's just a straight line from Valencia, basically direct to Bessel, which is the initial approach fix, and then we're going to do the VOR approach, VOR X-ray. What's this a message about? Oh yeah, I saw there was an event in the UK for new VATSIM users. That would have been quite cool as well. There's usually not that many events, and then today there's loads. Cool, so we want this. Reus anymore. Search. What's going on here? Right, search. Next. That's weird, why can't I get any more Alicante plates? Search. Lille, which is Alicante. There we go. Arrival, we want the VR. No, we don't want arrival, sorry. Something's glitching here, it's like keeps going back to Reus even though I've closed it. Close. Search. And it's saying Reus here for some reason, so that's making it a bit annoying to find all the charts. Right, Alicante, we want approach, VR, X-ray, I think it was, for runway 28. That's Malaga charts for later. VR, X-ray, runway 28. There we go. Cool. So you can see, look, there's the runway direction, and this is the approach. It's 20 degrees offset. 20 degrees offset. I saw a question actually. Anyone? Why do we use flap 2? Any specific use? Flap 2 is a nice flap setting just to slow down and get a little bit more drag if you just don't want flap 5. I occasionally use it. It's a little bit more drag so for recapturing the approach there. Nice coastline views there. Right, and what are the charts do we want? Back. We want airport. We want airport info. Parking stands. Perfect. There we go. So, I'm going to start punching some stuff in the FMC. So, descent, forecast page. Let's get some winds. I'm just going to read them straight off the operational flight plan right in front of me. Just give VNAV a bit of a chance. So, we want 200, which is 321 at 22. 200, 321 at 22. And 100 winds, which is 307 at 17. That's executed. Forecast QNH in Alicante right now is 1017, which is now set, and we can preset the QNH here as well. Excellent. Fix rings in for runway 0, it'll be, correction, runway 28, 10 miles, do a 4 mile ring, but I might configure a little bit, yeah, I'm going to go 5 miles, usually 4, but it's very high minimums for this approach because it's technically a circling minimums approach because it's so far offset. Right, so let's get the approach charts here. So we need 113.8, which is the VOR. We're going to fly in LNAV and VNAV just like we would in real life. 113.8. And the inbound course is 260. And 260. Now the runway QDM is actually going to be 20 degrees difference. So if we click this here, the runway heading is actually 280. It's 20 degrees offset. So 20 degrees offset, 260 and 280. Minimum altitude 2,200, so that's the platform altitude, which is here, and that's 8 miles distance Alpha Lima Tango. So we need to identify that waypoint in the FMC. That's going to be the Foxtrot Delta 28 X-ray, and we also need to put at Bessor 220 knots or below, because in Spanish airports, certainly in Alicante, the maximum speed after the initial approach fix, which is Bessor, is 220 knots. So it's all in the FMC. We're ready to go. Minimums then, they're very high because we are technically for category C circling here, so it's high space off the elevation here. Circling minimums are 1240. We need to add 80 feet to that, so it's going to be 1280. Okay, fair enough. It's not right in front of me there. Oh dear. My TCAS system will probably be going off then. That is now set, so 1240 plus the 40 feet. So I think I'll explain why if you answer. Well, I'll explain you now. We add 40 feet to the minimums because it's a non-precision approach, and this is an MDA, so we can't actually get below it. So by adding 40 feet, you ensure that if you decide to go around at minimums, the inertia of the aircraft doesn't take you actually below your MDA, which is a legal height. It's slightly steeper, 3.1 degrees, so check the FMC, it should say that. We've got 2.98, so there's something here wrong. It should exactly match up the glide path. Hang on, I should think that's the way the mod's built it, but it'll work. So this is what you call the stream crash, people. We'll just ignore him, and if he continues to mess around, we can just look off the network. Flying Emu coming in with a $2.99 donation. Thank you in everything you do for us. You're most welcome. I'm glad you enjoy the content and the streams. I enjoy them too. So we've got the FMCs loaded. Right, now let's talk about how we're going to fly this approach. That's the donation coming in. Thank you. So we're going to descend overhead the Valencia VOR, which is over Valencia City, continue southeast towards Bessor, which is the initial approach fix for VOR X-ray. Now, most people flying this approach into Alicante will be flying VOR Zulu today, which is not offset. It's nice and easy, but we're going to have a bit of fun and do the offset X-ray approach. From there, we'll fly the transition via Bessor using LNAV. So it goes from Bessor, holding there. We've got another donation coming in. Rusty Def, £95. Great video as usual. Could you explain the X-ray Yankee Zulu approaches? Absolutely for you. So here we have VOR X-ray. Now different letters correspond to different ways of flying the approach. Now the X-ray is based off here the Alpha Lima Tango VOR. Now if you were to choose the X-ray or Zulu, if we just have a look here, back, approach, and let's look at the Zulu. You notice here, here's the Zulu one, it's straight in, not offset, and that's because it's based off a different VOR. So if a different VOR is an operative, they can just choose for different types of X-ray or Zulu. Now it doesn't necessarily mean that's the case. Flipping TCAS going off. It doesn't mean necessarily it's a different type of offset approach or inbound or outbound. It just means that... There we go. It's basically different approaches. Now if you look at my procedural approach tutorial, you'll see there that you'll have different types of approaches there, Rusty. So you have a VOR X-ray in Bergamo, which is outbound from the beacon, a procedural approach, but other types of coded approaches have different tracks inbound there. But that in a nutshell is how what they mean. Right, so we'll close that approach. A few frames here per second. What's going on? Uh-oh, there we go. So we're going to fly from Bessel, as I said earlier, around the 18 DME arc from the Alpha Lima Tango VOR, and then descend 2,200 feet to the platform altitude, and then inbound to the approach to this point here, which is the missed approach point, Mike Delta 28 X-ray. We'll disconnect before that, and then it's just a right turn manually to get yourself established onto the final approach track. So it's that's how you do that. We'll use LNAV and VNAV as the modes, missed approach as well. Brief here is to climb direct to the VOR and make a left turn 097. The thrust closing makes me nervous when the aircraft does that. There's your man again. So all looking good. That's all briefed. Brief the missed approach actions as well later on. We'll just talk about the landing performance as well. Flying Emu, a whopping 15 Australian dollars, I think that is. That's very generous. Thank you so much. Love the vid, Vince, mate. Keep it up. Thank you so much for that. It's very, very good. That's really going to get my coffee sorted at work next week. Thank you so much, man. So yeah, that's what we're going to do for the approach. Now, landing performance for Alicante. It's quite a decent lengthed runway. Runway landing distance available, which you'll find down here for runway 28 is. Where's the landing distances here? What does it say? It's not giving them to me. The Jefferson charts I'm really unfamiliar with, but you should get the landing distance here, the figure here, the threshold. I have no idea why it's not there. There's the takeoff run. Well, it's a long runway, guys. You can see it's 3,000 metres. And for our planning today, we're going to use flat 30. Order brake 2 is what I'd use in real life to vacate at Alpha 2. And then we taxi off at Alpha 2 in via one of the gates onto a stand here. Alright, so that's it. Flap. Order brake 2, sorry, and flat 30. Fuel wise, 2.7. I find that a bit hard. I think it would be a little bit more than that. 2.73 points. We're going to about 0.9 tons, so that's going to be 63.2. Quite heavy, actually. Quite heavy landing weight. The maximum landing weight is 65.3 tons. So flap 30. Oh, no, not flap 15. Flap 30. Order brake 2, and we'll use idle reverse today. Right, so yeah, that's me. I'll shut up for a short while. I've been keeping you all busy and boring. Bored, but here we go. This is a view I've seen many a times. That's Valencia down there. You've got the Valencia port, the city, the airports. You can see over the nose as well. Let's have actually look at on the external view. Yeah, pretty cool. Ortho 4XP. Yeah, Valencia's a lovely city as well. Been there loads of times. Awesome. Flying into the sunset. Absolutely fantastic. Excellent. So we then read the descent checklist, which is on the joystick. So descent checklist, pressurization, land out is set, anti-ice is off, approach brief and fuel discussed, alternate inertia to the south, and IS out bugs are all checked and set. Checklist complete. Flying Emu, you're not messing around. Another donation. This one's from Jess and Mel. Cheers. Fantastic. Well, thank you, Jess and Mel, too. Oh, geez, you guys are messing around today. Carl Sangri, a member as well, and a big tip and donation, $25. Thanks for another great stream. What are the consequences, Pilot Airline, for missing speed altitude restrictions? Well, I'll do my absolute best to answer that question. Now, if you have a level bust, if you bust an altitude that you've been cleared to, you have to file a report. ATC will file a report. You probably have to have an investigation into that and see what happened. If you had a restriction to be at or above something, say in the FMC, and you saw that you weren't going to make it, for example, if we had a restriction, let's imagine at Valencia, to be at or below flight level 200, and we were held high by ATC, we just advise them, we'll be unable to make that restriction, and it's more than likely that they'll say, yeah, no problem at all, no problem. So yeah, it depends. If it's an actual level bust, as in ATC cleared you down to 5,000 feet and you went through it, that's called a level bust. That's pretty serious, serious thing to do. Now my live stream software is saying I'm having low video output, so sorry if you guys aren't getting me clearly and stuff. Let me know in the chat if there's any problems. I should think it's the other half. We're watching The Punisher on Netflix at the moment, so I think she's watching the next episode whilst I haven't watched it. Perfect. Oh, it's got a little bit hazy, so that's the weather updating and active sky. And we're approaching top descent very shortly. Danish gamers, what are your X-plane settings? Now I won't show you now because I think it pauses, and I know you're not meant to do that on VATSIM, but it's not all the way to the highest. It's like some stuff's high, medium. I'll send message me on Facebook and I'll send you a print screen with that. I need to actually leave a post of that on Facebook because people always ask me that. I'll say quality of the stream is just fine. All right, okay, it should be because we've got good internet here. When are you departing from Alicante? Elder Play says, well, our ETA is around 16:50, so in about 20 minutes. I'll take a 10-minute break just to get my breath back and get a drink, refile the next flight plan, and probably about half an hour after that. So I'd say in about 5:20, 5:30 local time, so in about an hour from now. Awesome. So that's the FMC. Reset MCP altitude. That's because we're approaching our top descent point. To check if anyone's online, but I think all the ATCs further west in Malaga. We could have an interesting approach into Malaga because I've not booked any slots there because they have to book, match real flight plans for the Spanish VATSIM. So what we're going to do is go straight down to the next restriction, which is 6.5. So what I'll do is just descend to 7.0 initially. And that is all set. Here we go, VNAV. So now I've just closed my thrust levers manually, which is why it's gone straight to arm. Had I not done that, it would have gone retard arm, so that's actually correct. Dean Anthony, will 3.32E be released after the stream if all goes well? The 3.32 Echo is just a hotfix one. I don't know actually what the latest one publicly is. I think, is it 3? I have no idea. I'm not. I download it. We download it from a different server. Which ZIBO provides, so I have no idea. I didn't mention it to you, but there isn't that many major changes here. Yoshi303, how does 3.32 feel? It feels pretty good to me. I've not had any problems or noticed anything there. Noah Featherstone coming with a $10 donation. Making my girlfriend watch with me. Wouldn't miss a stream. Thanks, man. Well, Noah, you can tell your girlfriend that my girlfriend has to wait until I finish streaming. She does occasionally watch and pipe in though, so fantastic. Your girlfriend's very kind. Thank you very much for the tip and donation. Appreciate it. DSC, would like to see some Category C approaches, maybe a series. Yeah, I think we'll do some challenging ones. What is it you want? You got Paro, you guys want Funchal, Innsbruck. Oh, these should be all fun approaches. I need to get the specific guidance on that. Perfect. Awesome. It's all looking good. 6, 12, 18. The profile's looking good. Speed's looking okay. Our target speed is currently 284 knots, but a tad high, but that's completely normal in VNAV. Very good. There we go. Here's a nice little external view for you. It's a shame it's a bit hazy, so we can't see a bit more scenery, but hopefully it'll look good as we get closer in. Flying Emu coming with a... You need to stop it, man. Thank you so much. Last one, I promise, mate. Jesus. I like the laugh impression. I did $2 lifetime. Thank you very much. That's very, very kind. Gatwick Ground, shout out to the Flying Emu and Carl Sangri. Shout out to Noah and Flying Emu. Yeah, thank you all to you guys for donating. It's very, very kind. Don't feel like you have to do that. But it's nice. It goes towards my coffees at work. I haven't actually flown for a while in reality, guys. My last flight, bizarrely, it was actually to Malaga. I did a flight to Malaga about a month ago. I haven't flown for a while because I've been in the sim, been on a course as well. But I am flying next week. So I'll try and get some pictures with you on the Instagram and story if I get some time. Iron Condor Simulations, hello again, because I know you're often here. Did you move the throttle to idle? Yes, it's idle here. In ARM, I can add and reduce thrust as I wish to maintain the target speed, but at the moment it's looking a little faster. What we'd actually use is a tiny bit of speed brake just to get our speed under control. Opposite sign on. Usually you wouldn't put the dome light on, but in the mod it's nice so you can see all the switches and stuff. Mark, that's an interesting question. What is the biggest mistake you made flying in real life? I've not made any big mistakes, nothing critical. Certainly not on the 7.3. No, nothing that bad. You make little silly mistakes when you're learning. You make the odd thing here and there sometimes, but it's all about making decisions. You try something, if it doesn't work, try something else. Yeah, I was in line training. One of my first line training flights. I got a little bit high, and we had to go around off it. But that was like brand new. I had less than 10 hours on the 737, and where were we flying into? I can't remember. Was it Alicante? It was somewhere in Spain. I can't remember. But yeah, it was just. I just got a bit high. I was just new, and the captain was like, "Oh yeah, I'll intervene." I got a bit high. It's not a problem. If you go around, you go around. It's training, you know. The airlines I've worked for and currently work for, and like most of them, have just a no blame policy on go around. So if you have to go around, you go around. There's no questions asked, unless you did something completely stupid or dangerous. But yeah, we're very go around minded. In fact, there's a saying, you know, we fly all approaches to a go around. A landing is a bonus. Hashtag yeah, is there ATC? No, not at Alicante at the moment, it would seem. So, oh yeah, I'm meant to be typing in all this stuff, aren't I? So if I write here, Lille traffic, approaching Bessor, well, approaching, still 3 minutes away, but approaching Bessor, VOR X-ray 28, there we go. I think that'll do. Cool, so yeah, this is looking spot on at the moment. Here's the terrain, so this is why you have your MSAs, to be very aware of your MSA and stuff. So it's the star, there we go. We should be monitoring this. So here's the high point, 5,110 feet. The MSA in this sector, 6,900, so yeah, we don't want to be any lower than that. So it's a lovely approach, and then you've got Benidorm, which is a favourite for many English tourists. I wouldn't rate Benidorm very highly, but that's just over this this hill here. But yeah, lovely. Ortho fog speed is just fantastic. This is level 17. Cool, we've got Rhino 1337. He's on the approach as well. Yeah, this is just I've done this approach a lot, guys. It's just like in real life. It's fantastic. Excellent. So there's the mod's doing absolutely brilliantly. I have not seen it behave like this for a while. It's fantastic. It's doing really nice. I've not touched anything. VNAV's bang on. It's descending to the restriction at 70. It's pitching up to reduce speed 250 knots. And this is all for free, guys. It's really good. Excellent. Is it Benidorm down here? I think it's just here. Yeah, there's Benidorm. There's Alicante. There's the airport there. Cool. Mattiar, which ortho source did you use? Now, I used a tutorial from a guy, I think it's called Luna's World. It's a really good tutorial. He tells you to use a different map, but everyone else, and he's actually updated in the text to change it to a different map. I think it's Bing Maps. But his tutorial is the one to follow to install everything. It was really easy to follow. It was really good. New membership coming in. We've got Maximiliano Fernsteit. Apologies if I completely mispronounced that. Coming with a new membership. I hope you enjoy all your new custom chat icons and the members only community posts as well, keeping you updated of what I'm up to. So thank you very much for the membership. And cue the autopilot disconnect sound coming in any second. Right, so here's Bessor. We can ditch the star chart because we want the transitional chart now. Looks like, there we are, zooming in. Excellent. Darren A, how are you? I think you're well. Hope you're well. Sunrun is beautiful. Don't know everyone goes to Benidorm. No, I don't know why everyone goes to Benidorm. I don't go to Benidorm. Got some buildings there, but yeah, there is Benidorm. Perfect. There'll be some interesting sights down there, no doubt, of the fleshy kind. Oh dear.
1,000 to go.
Perfect, so 1 to go. So now we are approaching Bessel. We'd probably be cleared down to the next step altitude, which is 3,000 feet. So you can go to the legs page, confirm that's the case. You usually went to your mile before. So what we'll do, we'll set 3,000 feet and the QNH, which is 1017. I'll double check, make sure that's correct in a second. So that's set. And when you do altimetry setting, it's so important that you make sure that this all works correctly, especially when flying approach using VNav. Fabi, during the non-precision approach, try going a bit below profile and re-engage VNav. That's what caused problems. So yeah, it should level off on approach with VNav, not do 1,000 feet per minute. But I'll probably just stick to the profile and I'll test it for you in later days. So there we go, it's now bugged 220 knots. VNav is just flawless today. Really, really, really good. I've not touched anything. We've not touched the thrust pretty much since we left top of descent. Now I'm just getting the weather in Alicante. It is still QNH 1017. Good. So we're just going to use a bit of speed brake because we are going a little bit fast for Bessel. Actually, I don't want the glide slope information, so we'll put glide slope off. That's a feature with the mod, and we don't have that in the real aircraft. Cool. So now we are making a turn to intercept this 18-mile arc for the DME here, and this is a 20-degree offset approach. Remember. Get rid of the speed brake now. Oh Christ! I didn't do the post-cruise check. So fuel, lights, APU is off. Angle of bank is set to 25 degrees. Pressurization set. Seatbelt recall. The post-cruise check's complete. So that's why there's two of us. Yeah. This is bang on. So I'm just adding a little bit of thrust here just to make sure the target speed doesn't get too low. But yeah, this VNav profile looks really good. 18 DME arc, so you can see the mod 18 DME. We've got 18. It's just flawless. The curved lines, that's all we're missing, guys, but it is flying it as it should do. Should make a right turn though now to follow the arc. Hopefully. There you go, it's got to from C speed, so it's back on its target speed, that's fine. Yeah, really, 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 really good. The mod is just pff, wow. Iron Condor simulations. Have you shared your ZIBO mod settings? No, I'll do that as well, with the X-Plane 11 settings too. So maybe a tad, so where we just want to make sure. Oh, it's turning final, but maybe a little bit prematurely. Oh no, it's doing fine. It's doing fine. Just adding thrust manually. Maybe it shouldn't have gone so shallow here, but it's otherwise doing a very good job. So I'm just manipulating thrust manually just to ensure that we stay close to our target speed. Yeah, it's bang on its descent profile again. Really, really good. Right, we can do the approach checklist of frequencies. We've got 113.8 and the inbound course is 260. Range rings are set for the arrival 10 and 5 miles. Instruments are set and the inbound course is 2. Approach checklist complete. Goman, you're very right. The good comment there. Non-precision approaches, VNav and VNav are temperature corrected. Be very careful. So yeah, I don't know if it explained models temperature corrections, but yeah, when it's below 0, you have to make corrections to temperature there. So going flap 1 now. We can now step down to 2,200 feet, which is the height of our final approach fix. This has been flawless. Like a really fantastic job from the mod today. Really good. There's the runway, obviously not lined up at all. Let's go flat 5 just to bring that speed back. I'm really enjoying this. This is just fantastic. What an aircraft job. Cool. So imagine we've got our landing clearance, pop our taxi light on. Latest wind in Alicante showing 180 at 6 knots. Perfect. So this is the final approach fix coming up now. That's the Foxtrot Delta 28 X-ray point. 2 miles before that we can set the minimums, which will set 1,300 feet. Verify we've got VNav path and speed intercept. This is completely normal, so thrust is going to come up now to maintain the flat 5 speed. Crim the Red, can you please clarify the use of strobe lights, in which case you have to have them on steady or flashing? So whenever you're on the active runway in flight and then off in flight, strobe steady. When you vacate the runway, you leave it on steady, which is the nav lights. Alright, it's 2 miles approaching this point here, so we can now set 1300 feet, verify we've got VNAV path and the speed window open. And we'll set the missed approach altitude, which is 4,000 feet, around, we'd have to do it a little bit higher because it's such high minimums, probably do it around 1,600 feet or so. Perfect, and there is the runway. This guy looks a bit high. Perfect. So there it is. And verify the terrain is noted, so we'll put the terrain here. Faithful XYT, are the ZIBO panel colours the same as the real aircraft? Yeah, it looks pretty good to me. Oh Christ, I've not said anything on the chat. So there's the final approach fix, altitude checks, no flags, final runway 28 VR X-ray. Well, hopefully they realise it's in Alicante. Okay, so let's configure now for landing gear down, flap 15, landing checklist 2, flaps, we've got the start switches, continuous, recall checked, speed brake arm, green lights, landing gear down, 3 green, auto brake set to 2, just holding on the landing flap, which is coming up now, flap 30, match speed, we'll set the missed approach altitude, which is 4,000 feet. This is just flawless. This has done the whole descent and approach flawlessly. Really, really good. Can't believe it. Perfect. So if you were in cloud now, you'd have to be visual approaching minimums, otherwise you'd have to go around.
Minimums.
Continue. You don't have to disconnect at minimums. You can use the automation for as long as you need to. Especially if you're unfamiliar with the vertical profile, but for a bit of fun, we're going to disconnect anyway. And recycle the flight directors. I think if you turn them on, you can. Oh yes, ZIBO fixed that. He's fixed it. Yes. So when your flight director's recycled, you don't have them come up. Oh, amazing. So we're just going to make a slight turn to get onto the centre line. Very hard to see the pappies in a desktop simulator. So just keeping the rate of descent, I can just about see the pappies. 3 reds, we don't want to get any lower than that. There we go, 2 reds, 2 whites. Now back onto around 1 degree approximate target altitude. This is where again the mod is the best aircraft, because the X-Plane 11 really utilises the pitch and power, or the modelling of the aircraft there. Now we're on the centre line. Thrust is good, speed's good, rate of descent's good, so we're all stable here. Continue. Nice. Let's not smash her down. 3 white, speed's getting a little low, so just adding a bit of thrust, pitching down very slightly, but not too much.
100.
Small inputs.
50,
End of the runway
40,
looking.
30,
Check.
20,
Close.
yeah.
Hold the attitude. A little float there. Come on.
Long
baby.
landing.
Oh,
Long
that's
landing.
not a long landing at all. That's very premature from Ras.
Remaining.
My speed brake up. Reverses. The auto brake setting is much better now as well. Auto brake 2. It's probably a little hard, maybe. Oh no, maybe okay. 60. Idle reverse. Guys, welcome to Alicante, local time in Spain right now, 5:50 in the evening. Yeah, the rascal there, the RAS long landing should come in, let me think, it's 33% of the way. If you're still flying 33% down the runway, that's when you get the long landing. I'd barely gone over less than 400 or 500 metres, so yeah, I need to let the RAS designer know that that's a little bit early there. What a flight though. That was a fantastic flight. The mod just worked flawlessly, so I hope this version becomes public very soon. It was really, really good. Wicked. So vacating the runway, weather radar off, fixed landing lights off. There's no traffic here, so we're just going to take the first right, and then we'll find a nice little bridge to park ourselves on. We'll do a replay as well. And then I will take a quick break before the next flight to Malaga, where we should get some ATC, hopefully. Excellent, so this scenery, I cannot remember who made it. It's a payware scenery. It's in the video description below, but it's really, really nice. Matches Alicante pretty much perfectly. Cool. So we'll do the rest of the cleanup now. Off. Trim. Trim is perfect now as well. You'd anticipate the trim being around 8-9 units on final, so it's trimming correctly. You'll then set that to 4 units on the taxi in. And that's based on the default CG which you get with the mod. It's fine for a typical loading of the 737. This mod is just fantastic. Excellent. Speeds matched. This is where you just got to hope you're not on the grass. Awesome, and I'll look at some of the questions as well very shortly. Perfect. So taxi wise, we'll just kind of self-position ourselves onto a stand. We'll come in via Charlie Gate onto a stand here. Actually, we will go on stand 27, which is where we did our last stream from, and it's where I had that picture from as well, with the thumbnail for our last stream from Alicante. Because what happened was I did a stream from Alicante to La Rochelle, started on stand 27, and the day before I was actually on stand 27 in Alicante, which is in real life, which is pretty cool. Excellent. Alexander Abshref, what's the point in having an approach with a 20-degree offset? Well, the reason an approach is offset would be for many reasons. It could be terrain, could be noise. And Alicante, I'm not 100% sure, because they also have a VOR Zulu, which is straight in, which isn't offset. But typically it's for terrain, noise, some obstacle or issue that's is precluding them from building a straight-in approach. Roy Morritt, what weather engine do you use? I use Active Sky. Lovely. Oh yeah, I said left at Charlie Gate. Brakes. There we go. Whack on the APU. Excellent. So yeah, that's really nice, the scenery here. It's pretty much matching the terminal. It's a new terminal which was built a few years ago. It's the old terminal, which is not in use anymore, but the park aircraft outside there. I think this is static aircraft. This is EasyJet don't have 737s anymore, but there is one. And here is what airline's that? I recognise that logo. I'm not a very good plane spotter, guys. I don't know my airlines very well. Well, there's stand 27 anyway. APU's nearly ready.
50.
Got Demetrius Drowns coming with a $2 donation. Thank you very much, my friend, for supporting the channel. Hope you enjoy the content. Thank you very much. Perfect, so there's the left turn onto stand. Turn off the taxi lights off, and hopefully we'll get the gate guidance coming up very shortly. So yeah, you would never turn onto a stand without the gate guidance on, or a marshaller in reality. You'd have to wait there. But there we go, it says 738, so we know it's the right aircraft. I think he's drunk or lost. Brilliant. Idle now. So it's saying turn left. Just tapping my brakes, you can probably hear on the joystick. Excellent stuff. Stop, parking brake we can now set. We've got APUs available, so 2 blues, 1 red. Engines are now dead. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Alicante, where the outside air temperature is about 17 degrees Celsius. So, open, usually wait a bit longer to pop that off. Make sure the voice recorder's on. And here we go. We got the bridge as well. What service? Excellent job, guys. So you then do the transit shutdown checklist as well. So what I'm going to do is log off the VATSIM network for now. We'll do a replay of the landing, and then I will take a 10-minute break, and we'll set up for the next sector to Malaga. And I won't touch the aircraft, guys. I'm going to leave it where it is. We won't reload it, so I can kind of go through the transit setup as well. So we've got squawk box, disconnect, and we've got here flight toggle replay mode, which is Alt R. We'll put some music on as well. Perfect. So we'll do the landing from the outside view. There we go, we'll do it from here.
2500.
Cool. So that's what the passengers will be seeing. Actually, if you're in this window here, you might even just about see the runway. Not quite, not quite. yeah, it's a fantastic view. If you're on the right hand seat as well, you get the whole view of Alicante as well. Fantastic. Freddie Samir tried to pronounce Chiugia. Carl Sangri, did I forget the strobes? Probably did. I'll have a look at that in a second. There we go. Kojo Mabsy, what's your schedule? I don't have one, I'm afraid, due to too many commitments outside of the stream. I try to do one at least every week, if not 2 weeks. Here we go then, coming over the threshold. It wasn't too bad a landing, it was a slight float. Ras didn't like it, but it was all good. Flying Emu, I thought you said you'd stop donating. You have to pay for the butter you provide. Yeah, I'm aware butter is the word you use when you do a smooth landing. There we go. Thank you very much anyway. Nice little check, a little bit early with the check there.
50,
So
40,
there we go,
30,
touchdown.
20, 10.
Reverses. Wicked. Not sure about the roads, the terrain here, but anyway, it all looks good to me. So guys, we'll exit the replay here, go back onto stand. I'm going to take the opportunity to have a 10-minute break, get the flight plan sorted out in VATSIM, but thank you if you have to go now. I hope you enjoyed the flight. For those who are staying on for the next sector, I'll be right with you in 10 minutes. See you in a second, guys. Well, welcome back again, guys. I was just having a play with this DJ thing here to try to edit the music and stuff, but trying to work out how it works half the time and stuff. But anyway, here we are back in the ZIBO mod for the second sector. I've not touched anything except all I've done is put the GPU on the bus, turn the APU off, which is something we do on all turnarounds anyway, to save fuel. Because a lot of airports have noise restrictions as well, so they don't like the APU running for too long. So yeah, so transit setup, you shut down, the pilot monitoring will be doing the walk around, organising the fuel. Cabin crew are busy getting all the passengers off, the aircraft's getting cleaned as well. And we try and start the boarding then as soon as possible afterwards, so we can, for a bit of immersion, terminate flight leg and then restart it again to simulate the fact we're boarding again. And you essentially start off where you did last time with the PFD, verify you got the QNH set, all the heights you need to have preset to, get the ATIS as well for the QNH, essentially working your way along here and then pretty much straight into the FMC again to get the next step of the routing. So we'll do that now. It should have all reset, and if you always want to go and do it properly, I always go per index and then always start again on the IDEN page, that way you can flick through everything in the correct order and check everything as you need to do. So date's all good, pause in it, we're now in Alicante, Lima Echo Alpha Lima, and we're now going to Malaga, Lima Echo Mike Golf. I filed the flight plan as Broadsword 01, I was going to do it to 02, so we'll keep it on as Broadsword 01, which is our usual call sign, so we can punch that in here. And departure. Now, the wind in Alicante is in fact 170 at 10 knots, so it is favouring 10. I'm quite sure in Alicante, if they haven't done so already, that they'd be very soon switching to the easterly runway, unless it was forecast to be runway 28. So we're actually going to depart off 10 over the sea and make a 180-degree turn. There's no ATC here to clarify that, but that's the wind is favouring that runway. So, and the SID we're flying is the Yesta 3 Alpha. So that's all good. Our routing then, very simple routing, just pretty much like the routing we had here. It's going to be Yesta Bravo 28 to Vibas, and that's the arrival into Malaga. It's pretty much just one airway. And Vibas, it'll be the easterly runway in Malaga, I should think. So they've got 12 and 13. I have no idea what's in use. We'll go for 13, which is the most common one. But the arrival we want is the Vibas Swan Quebec. And we'll go for Isla Zulu 13. There we go. Via, I think it's Omigo transition. I'm just having a look at the chart now. Isla Zulu 13. No, Tulsu. Tulsu transition. So that's activated, executed. Excellent. Now, the fuel I've taken is a little bit extra because it said on the Spanish VATSIM website that's hosting the event that if you don't have a slot, you can still fly into the airport, but you can anticipate delays. So what we've done, if I go to airport, it's not airports, charts, and you see we need 4.9. Now I've taken an extra 30 minutes of fuel on top of this, which is about 1,200 kilos. So we've got, I think I said 6.1 tons in the gauges, so yeah, 6.2. So there you go, an extra 30 minutes to allow for any delays and holding. Kaz says they're still arriving on runway 28 in real life. I think that's because the forecast wind is due to be that direction. It is 1806, so it ever so slightly prefers runway 10, so we'll just go for that. But yeah, it probably is 28 in reality too. It would be easiest to be fair, but it's quite cool to do the 180-degree turn anyway after 11 miles from Alicante. Right, so the fueling's done. We can now do the performance. So still, we'll simulate 180 passengers. Reserves, I can't remember off the top of my head. It's under charts. Reserves are the sum of these two. So you've got 2, 3, 2, 4, 2, 5, and our alternate is Seville to the west of Malaga. Cost index is 30, cruising again at 230. There we go. Wind will be very similar to the routing from Reus earlier when we came inbound to Alicante. Top of climb wind, it says it's 319 at 23. There we go. And the ISA deviation is +3. Here, +3. Performance. Oops, I've not done the performance. So, what's temperature? 16. Let's guesstimate it a little bit. go full 24k if in doubt, but we'd never ever do that in reality, guys. Flap 5, speed set 48, but 24k will be fine for us at this weight. Cool. Right, whilst I'm in the FMC, I'm just going to set the descent winds. It gives us one less annoying thing to do. Because I've got to let ZIBO know, he's probably watched this. The VNAV did a splendid job flying into Alicante there. And I've not flown that approach or tested it prior to the stream. I just literally flying it per explain this afternoon after 2 weeks away from home or busy on a course and stuff. And it worked brilliantly. 100 winds are 289 and 9. We'll see how the mod behaves as well, because I've not shut it down. It's I've literally just had a 10-minute break and it's still working there. So the winds are in. Forecast QNH we'll get later. Right, so the FMC is loaded. Back onto the up overhead panel. Do your panel scan. Make sure the switches are in the correct place. All looking good. Elevation in Malaga is 50 feet. Go. Oops. Carl, you were right earlier. I think he said make sure your strobes are in steady, and I forgot to turn them off. And they've been, hopefully the PM would have noticed on the walk around and knocked on the side of the plane telling me to shut the bloody strobes off because they are extremely bright. Right, so the SID, Abitab, airport. So because we're not departing off runway 28 anymore, we're going to have to do the other direction, the Yesta 3 Alpha. So we're going to go straight ahead off the Alicante VOR. Where's the routing section here? Climb runway heading to 1200 feet, and then a slight left turn for the Alicante radial 275. Now I think we've already got it tuned, haven't we? 13.8. And we just need the courses to not 275. Hold on here. Oh, 10. I'm reading the wrong freaking box. Climb on runway heading to 10.7 miles. Right turn to Alicante radial 275. Outbound. And then to Zorin, and then to Yesta. So it's just a simple turn back to the VOR, so we want 275 as the outbound courses. Looks like Passenger Escobar's special meal might be on the Gate Gourmet van, so hopefully they'll drop that off. He'll quit his moaning. 6,000 feet, I think, is the stop altitude, so we'll set that initially. I'll imagine we've got a clearance. Runway heading is... runway 10 100. Nice and easy.
50.
Oh, that's
30.
not a super chat. That's
20.
a direct donation
10.
through Streamlabs. So stand by. Rajalasco, who's donated 20 Norwegian kroner from Africa. Well, thank you very much, my friend. That's very, very generous of you, and thanks for directly paying through Streamlabs, donating through Streamlabs. That's very appreciated. I'm glad you enjoy the content. So the SID is all done. So it's basically straight ahead. 180 degree turn, max 230 knots, and then back overhead the airport, the VOR, then outbound towards the Yesta VOR, which is 1152, which, yeah, we might as well put as a backup here. Cool, so the SID is all briefed. I've done the panel scan, MCP is good, just need to set the flight directors on. RTO, reset the fuel flow. All looking good. So we do the route check again. The routing then, it's essentially still following the coastline all the way to Malaga. If we go to Avitab and charts, flick through pages. This is the one I think I showed you earlier. There we go. So it's Alicante, westbound inland actually, not so much along the coastline here, and then south bound initially towards Malaga, and then the arrival will take us to the west, and then from runway 13 or 12. There's our alternate Seville, however you pronounce it in Spanish, just to the west. Alright, cool. Right, so we'll get the APU started again, and that's essentially the setup. I know I went bash through it quite quickly, but you do all the route checks, your emergency briefings again, your performance, and all that stuff in reality. And whilst that's going on, I'll double check on the VAT map. If anyone's online at Alicante, if we can get our clearance from any clearance liveries or centre frequencies. I think Malaga, Alicante is just outside of the Spanish centre where they're providing ATC coverage. Yeah, so we can just get everything pushed back on our own. So, better pushback, pre-plan. That must have been from the last stream because I've not done that. That's pretty cool. So we'll push
Ground
enter
to Cockpit. Can acknowledge. Coming through the menu when you are ready.
and request pushback. Cool. Music Command 183 finally called a live stream. So stoked. Well, you just missed the first sector from Reus to Alicante, and we're just about to get going to go to Malaga. So a flight time about 45 minutes. So I hope you enjoy it. Wojtek, good morning. No sound. I hope you guys let me know if you can hear me a-okay. Someone said they can't hear me. Perfect. So maybe you can now go on the bus. And we can now disconnect the GPU, which I forgot to do last time. Cool. So here's the external view. So imagine all the boarding's done, even though it sounds like they're still boarding. Sun's just set now. If we're lucky, we might be able to. One of the cool things about this job is if the sun's just set and you take off and you climb quick enough, you can see the sun rise again. So I think we might be a little bit too late for that by the time we get onto runway 10. But if we climb quick enough, we might just see the sun rise again as we get higher up in the atmosphere. A-OK, sounds okay here. Reg5, audio's all good. Excellent. That's what I want to hear. Excellent, excellent. So yeah, this is a fantastic scenery. As I said, I can't remember exactly who makes it, but yeah. Actually, I don't know if you go in the terminal, look. Oh, wow, that's really cool. See all the people here. No one missed the flight deck that's in flight. There we go. Fantastic. Alright, well, we'll get the show on the road then. If there's no one here. Post on. Oh, never signed back onto VATSIM again, actually. So, squawk box, connect, and connect. There we go. Cool, so we'll just make sure that there's no one else around. Might take a while. Yeah, it looks like we're all clear. Oh, there's a few aircraft around, but we'll say on the 122.8 that we're pushing back here. So, Lille traffic, pushing back, stand 27, there we go. Awesome, so if we release the parking brake, do the checklist below the line, so packs off, anti-collision light is on, parking brake set, transponder to out off, still squawking 2000. Yeah, we are on VATSIM Elder Place, but no one's here in Alicante. Right, release parking brake, there goes the bridge.
Starting with Pushback, and you may turn in.
Excellent. So I'm looking in there, there's no one there. And there's the old floating aircraft problem which we have. There they go, cabin crew shut the door. And we're pushing back on schedule. Actually, 4 minutes late. I said on VATSIM we'd push back at 17:15. Awesome. Right, have a little sip of my drink. We'll get the engine started. Trip beats, I have to go now, Captain. I have a date in 1 hour. Been on the stream since the beginning. See you guys. Well, good luck on your date. Fantastic. Right, let's start engine number 2. There's a floating Ryanair aircraft behind us, blocking the way. This is just awesome. The sounds, the whole immersion. That's why I use X-Plane 11, guys. It's so much better. Should be about 24. Oops, make sure you got the DU up. Over motoring the engine, but it's slightly quicker. As I said, we're Twerkster's working on getting the N1 and N2 more stabilised, more realistic. Sorry, for better engine starts. Can't really see the engine from here. Cool. There's the jet blast effects. Smart, very smart. Start engine number 1. Kim, for watching this stream whilst enjoying a Donna pizza. How nutritious. I don't think I've ever had the 2, but I do like a cheeky Donna kebab after a night out. Head to N1. There's oil pressure. Start lever to idle detent. There's an aircraft that's just taken off on runway 28, which is probably, to be fair, the correct runway. But we will use 10. No one else around. There's a couple of aircraft there which I hope are not going to backtrack, but it can actually happen where they use 2 runways at an airport anyway. You just have to remain clear at the holding point. for the departure.
Operation complete. Set parking brake.
Coming up. Javier, parking brake set.
Disconnecting tow. Standby.
Excellent. So we'll get him to Reus, and then we'll taxi out to holding point runway 10. Rainy day. Yeah, I love that Spanish truck driver's voice sound. So I'm only doing this for my paycheck. Not to discredit all Pushback guys, but some of them do sound a little disjoyous occasionally. Start Cloney, can you take off with 0 flaps? You could. It's prohibited because one, you'd very likely have a tail strike, or there's a high risk of a tail strike if you were to do that, and you'd lose a lot of lift. I mean, even flap 1 gives you a lot extra lift than flaps up, so it is prohibited in the 737. You can do a flaps up landing. It'd be a very rare technical problem if you were going to have that issue.
Tower is disconnected and bypass beam has
Cool,
been
so someone was waiting for pushback once I've taxied past.
We'll see you next time. Have a safe flight.
Get the flow done whilst the pushback's getting complete. Oops. That's all good. I'll put the logo light on as well because it's night time now. Flaps to 5 again. Flight controls. Full back. Full forward. Left, centre, right, centre. Rudders. Left, centre, right, centre. And a question I get a lot is, why don't you check the system page for the flight controls? Well, we actually don't have that as an option. So long as you've got full and free movement and no resistance, it's completely fine to check it like that. Recall, and then you'd read the before taxi checklist. Javier's shown us the bypass pin. He's going to go for his siesta now. We would have had his siesta, I should think, already. And let's go now. Let's taxi to hold point 10. Get on our way to Malaga. Config checked. No takeoff config warning horn. And I'll say I'm taxiing to hold runway 10. Lille. That'll do. Probably there's a set way of writing that, or an approved way on VATSIM. Perfect. We'll take the first left onto the taxiway. Nice. Oops, off the taxi line slightly, not so good. So here's Charlie Gate. We call the gates usually where the positions from the apron to the taxiway. And then we'll make a right turn to go towards runway 10. So I'll bring the chart up so you're happy with where we're going. There we go, so on the Charlie Gate now, then a right turn onto the Alpha taxiway. We can take any of these intersections for runway 10. Lift pizzas, how do I turn on the cockpit lights? I can't see anything and I do night flight. So yeah, if you fire up the ZIBO mod at night time, cold and dark, it's completely pitch black in there. It's actually quite difficult to find the battery light and the ground power light. So you just have to fiddle around, but once you've done that, you want to turn the dome light on, which is... just make sure I'm going the right way here, buddy. Here to bright, and that way you have sufficient lighting. Now, in reality, at night time, we'd turn this off. Actually, it doesn't look too bad, and that just gives you better night vision. Daniel Lambari, for pushback, the hydraulic system A must be on or off. I'll answer that in a second because someone's just donated through Streamlabs. Ginger Troll, £1.78, greetings from Norway. Well, thank you very much for the tip and donation. So certainly a lot colder in Norway than it would be in Alicante right now, but thank you very much for the contribution. I do appreciate that. Going back to Daniel's question, you don't need to turn the A pumps off. If there's a bypass pin installed to the nose wheel, it prevents the nose wheel moving from the hydraulics. As an extra safety precaution, you could take the A system off, which turns off the nose wheel steering primarily, but there's no requirement to if there is a bypass pin. So some airlines do turn the A pumps off, some don't. The airline I work for, we don't turn off the A pumps. So I guess we need this centilator Pablo on 133.75. He's the Spanish Control Center frequency, so we'll put him on standby for later. Right, going Yes, I am. Perfect. So we can now do the before taxi checklist. So before takeoff checklist. So config we've checked. Flaps again, 5 green lights. Stab trim set for takeoff. About 5.5 units set. Takeoff briefing packs are in auto, bleeds are on. The V-speed set for takeoff, 39, 40, 48 is set. The departure is the Yesta. What was it? Just get this sit up on my own charts here off my company iPad. It is the Yesta 3 Alpha departure. We're going to climb straight ahead until we're 10.7 miles DME off the VOR, and then make a 180 degree turn inbound to the Altet VOR, and then we're going to go outbound 275 to Yesta, climbing initially to 6,000 feet, but as there's no one online again, we're going to set straight up to our cruise level 230. That's reviewed, cabin secure, and the before takeoff checklist is complete. Daniel, thanks, great stream, great channel, thank you, no problems. I try and answer as many questions as I can. Perfect. So it does look quite busy going into Malaga, so we might get a holding, but we've got an extra 30 minutes of fuel to allow for that. Hopefully it won't be like that stream we did to, where was it, from Oslo to Lapland, where we had holds in the climb and we were 1 hour and a half into the stream and we hadn't even taken off. That was crazy. Yeah, that was crazy. Perfect, so approaching the whole point, there's no ATC here, so we'll let everyone know that we are taking off. So Neil, traffic, taking off, runway 10. Perfect, so we can clear takeoff, lights are on, strobes, LNAV, auto throttle, and I hope I'm still on the taxi line. Oh, I'm probably nowhere near where I need to be now. There we go. So MCP is set, transponder TARA, strobe lights are on, and lights are on. We have been cleared takeoff. Before takeoff checklist is complete. Excellent. So confirm with the other pilot been cleared takeoff. Yes, we have been. Make sure you clear left and whoops, clear to the right. Looking good. So we'll do a rolling takeoff.
Approaching
weather radar, that was
0.
what I forgot. So as we turn onto the runway, you can start the timer now. You can begin to slowly increase the thrust levers up to 40%.
On runway 10.
So all looking good. And the engines are stabilised. Push toga, set takeoff thrust. There we go. Looking for 94.0. Takeoff thrust set indications are normal. A little bit of left rudder I'm using here.
89.
Checked. The wind coming from the right. Using left rudder to maintain centre line. V1 rotates. Still use that rudder to maintain centre line. Keep the wings level with aileron if there's any crosswind. There we go, and we're airborne. Neutralise the rudder. Gear up onto the flight directors. And trim. Oh, there's traffic can approach to Alicante, I can think. Oh no, he's a lot higher than us, he's 9,000 feet higher. LNAV's engaged, so yeah, you shouldn't usually see traffic displayed more than 9,000 feet above you. It should, in our airline, it only shows it if it's within 2,300 feet. So there we go, command is engaged, and we can now bug up and accelerate the aircraft. Spectacular, look at that. Awesome. So we can now select flap 1. Voice is breaking like an absolute teenager. Someone said on my stream once, you don't sound like you're an airline pilot. I do have a youthful voice. And flaps up. Nick Sargent, how much back pressure would you use on the yoke? Oh, very hard to describe. Enough to initiate the rotation. It's hard to explain. It's a two-step rotation, so you pitch back initially to get it moving, and then when you get to around 10 degrees you have to pitch back a bit more to get through something called the dead band, and that's quite unique to the NG because of its the profile of the wing and the horizontal stabilizer, so it's a two-stage rotation. Excellent. So flaps are up, no lights. We can now engage VNAV 230 knots, remember, which VNAV's buckled for because that's the speed restriction at Alicante. Set standard and push out into vents. Oh no, we don't have the restriction in the FC, so VNAV set standard 3.6 for flight level 230. Let's now do the after takeoff checklist. So, air conditioning and pressurisation. This is why I like to have the right on here, so you can see a little bit clearer in the stream and stuff, but we don't usually have it off. So, this can go off as well. Air conditioning and pressurisation 2.0 psi. That's all set. Release the cabin crew. And the after takeoff checklist is complete. So on this SID we are going in a straight line in the wrong direction until we get to 10.7 miles from the VR, and then we'll make a 180 degree turn to go back over the VR, which doesn't look very pretty on here, but hopefully it will make the correct turn anyway. So until we get the curved lines, it won't look good. Chartucker, please tell Unicom what flight level you're climbing to. Oh, is that the correct way? I should probably say that. So, Unicom, I need to review what to do properly. I'm going to get someone to tell me off. So, climbing, flight level 230, inbound, yes, VOR. There we go. Excellent, so the mod's making the correct turn. 230 knots, and then once we're inbound we can accelerate the aircraft above 230 knots. There's the airport. Might be a little bit too late to see the sun come up again above the horizon. So it looks like it's undershooting the turn slightly. We'll see how it behaves. So far so good. Wombology, love that. Any tips for a Cessna pilot transitioning to the ZIBO? Tried watching your tutorial but didn't feel like I understood everything you were doing fully. So yeah, I mean my tutorials are probably more geared towards someone who's got a bit of experience flying a complex commercial aircraft like the 73 or the ZIBO mod or the NGX. If you go for it a few times, make some notes, it will get you started. I certainly know the NGX, they provide like a PDF tutorial which is quite good if you're starting off, and I used that years ago to get going, but I don't know I don't have anything specific for new people starting, I'm afraid. So just be reassured again, as I always say, even though it doesn't look pretty, the mod is correctly flying the profiles, okay? Oh, well, I say that, it looks like it might have undershot, but to be fair, remember the chart doesn't depict exactly where you're going with regards to this, so all it's done is a normal rate 1 turn. So I'm not 100% sure if it's meant to match chart because we don't have any chart following features on the aircraft, but it is behaving correctly. I mean, all the SID says, if we've done it correctly, it says runway 10, make a right turn direct to Alicante, which the mod is doing perfectly. So the way it's coded, it is completely correct, and it's exactly how the real aircraft would do it, so it shouldn't even be on that exact line. I guess. Anyway, right, fuel 4 pumps, lights, and we can turn the logo off, APU's off, pressurisation 5.0 psi, and all set. Release the passengers. Recall checks complete. Conobar, when I fly the ZIBO, I climb to flight level 400, I get the cabin pressurisation warning. Packs are on auto, cabin altitude set to 400. Make sure you've got engine bleed on, packs in auto, isolation valve in auto, and you've set 400 on the panel, and you should be fine. You don't want that going off. Perfect. So put the VR on, and we're actually directly over the airport pretty much now, so if we look down, there we go. So he's, yeah, I need to learn how to do this if someone messes around as supervisor. There's an aircraft obstructing. That's pretty cool. Some aircraft taking off on 10 as well. Wicked. If he's not, absolutely doesn't sound ungrateful at all to me. Yeah, like I said, my tutorials are quite fast paced as well, which is something when I started a lot of people were saying about it. To be fair, I was quite quick with the presentation, and I've slowed that down with some of the videos. But yeah, there's lots of little videos online from other streamers which will get you started. I just follow to the letter on streams like this exactly what we'd be doing in reality. Excellent. So, oh, that's a 230 knot restriction gone, so we can now accelerate to our equal climb speed. Rain day. When I started watching the channel, I was quite a bad sim pilot, but now 6 months later, I'm quite good thanks to flying to sim. Oh, I try. But yeah, I mean, I can be fast-paced, but I'm showing you how to fly the airplane in reality. It's exactly what we do. Wicked. So we're now inbound to the Yester VOR, so we can make that active. There we go. That's Zorin. That sounds like a bad guy from a James Bond film. Wasn't it Zorin on one of the James Bond films? I can't remember. One of the Roger Moore films. And there's the Yester VOR. Perfect. And then we can get ready for Malaga when we reach top of climb. Alex, heads up, but on VATSIM you are still showing us flying from Reus to Alicante. The flight plan hasn't updated. I hope it has. Oh, sugar me, it has. Let's have a look, see if I can change that. So I definitely filed a new flight plan. Definitely filed a new flight plan. Yeah, it does say on my watch that I'm going from Reus to Alicante. Now, how can I change that? If I log out, so I'm not anywhere there. Now, if I'm just going to go file a new flight plan on SimBrief, and then we'll log back in again. It's probably because I use the same call sign. What I'll do, I'll change it to Broadsword 02. That's all there. Alicante to Malaga. File flight plan. I hope it doesn't make any. It doesn't cause any problems when we. We're now Broadsword 02, so I'll change the name here in the settings. Yeah, still won't be very pleased with that. No, Broadsword 02 done. And now let's just try and log into VATSIM again. So Squawkbox connect, Broadsword 02, and now connect. So hopefully, I hope that's updated everything there. I hope so. Thanks for the heads up on that. Max Zorin was the James Bond villain. That was it. I remember now. Yeah, the airship at the end. Yeah, let me know, guys, on the VATSIM map if I'm showing now the correct routing. So I can see it on my current one. It's saying that I am routing from Reus to Alicante. But I definitely filed that flight plan before. Now I'm no longer there, so that's fine. But I've logged back in. James and B, how much did you study towards your ATPL before enrolling at a flight school? Well, I did my PPL basic flight training schools, but I did all the training whilst enrolled there. Did all the ground schools. Ruben Rogney or Roan, I don't know how you pronounce that. Sorry. Are you saving this video? Yes, it should be available post stream. It usually takes an hour or two to render before it's available, but I am planning on keeping this. Right, let me refresh the VATSIM map. I hope this now shows me. Yes, now it says Alicante Malaga, so I hope they'll recognise that, and we are approaching the centre controller soon. Oh, get the 80s too, 12037.
Zero degree.
Make a note of this.
4 knots. Visibility 800 meters. Runway
800
visual
meters.
range. Runway 31750 meters. Downgrading Fog. Vertical visibility.
Oh Christ, fog and
100
vertical
feet.
visibility?
Temperature.
I wasn't expecting any of this.
4. Viewpoint 1 3.
I'm having a look
QNH
at the weather.
1019. Becoming. Visibility 6.
Oh
kilometers.
crikey, there's been a low visibility in Malaga. A bit of
This was Malaga.
fog and
Information.
stuff. Wow.
Tango. This is
Could be interesting,
Malaga.
guys.
AT information.
Fog and vertical
Tango at
visibility.
time 1707.
We might have to divert.
Expect ILS approach. Runway 13
This
in use.
one's really-
Transition level 070. Wind
I'll shut him up because I've got it on my text box here.
40 degrees.
So,
4.
runway 13, 1404, 800 metres, RVR 750 metres. Fog secured 100 feet visibility. This is kind of a Cat 3 approaching here. I mean, the RVR is what's controlling the runway visual range, and that's 750, and we need 550 metres for a Cat 1 ILS. And they don't have Cat 2 or Cat 3 available in Malaga. You could technically do an auto land on a flight sim, but there is no authorised Cat 2 or Cat 3 here. It's Cat 1 only. So we'll do that as well. You can't do an auto land in Cat 3 conditions off a Cat 1 ILS. It will do it, but you're not allowed to. So yeah, this could be a bit sketchy here, guys. I didn't actually check the weather at all, I'll be honest. So yeah, RVR is 750 metres. We need 550 metres for this approach into Malaga. So yeah, this could be interesting. I had no idea. A bit of sea fog, I guess, coming in this evening. Anyway, we'll start setting up. Runway 13 is guessed. The temperature is 10 miles, 5 miles definitely if it's IMC, and QNH was 1019. Execute 1019. So yeah, if we go around, guys, we'll go to Seville. We'll have to divert and actually not check the weather in Seville. Probably. So in reality, when weather's like this, you'd obviously pre-flight check all the weather, find somewhere where the weather's good. Seville's fine, Cav OK still there, and it's forecast to be, but I didn't actually check the Malaga weather. So we'll get the rest set up. Forecast fixings are in. Right, let's get some charts. So it's still showing that Reus thing from earlier, which is a bit of a pain. Where are we going? Lemg. Malaga. We need the Vibus 1 Quebec. There we go. Need arrival, ILS. Oops, not arrival. Oh, it's doing that thing again. It's a glitch. I need to let Falco know with the Avi tab. So it's saved this Reus result because it was too many results earlier. Malaga. This. We want to approach ILS Zulu 13. There we go. So we want 1095. This could be sketchy. We might get in here, guys. 1095 and the Malaga VOR 244. We need the Mike Lima Golf getting a message to be contact someone, so we'll do that first. 113 113335. Reading properly. We are broadsword 02 now. I'm going to try and remember that. Let's see how the audio quality is today. Perfect.
Sevilla, muy buenas tardes. Airspace 69, nivel de vuelo 230 y a 14 de ANSA. Con usted.
Airspace 69, buenas tardes. Francis, en contacto radar, notifico listo descenso.
Buenas tardes, Oscar. Pues llamaremos para descenso a Airspace 69, gracias.
Iberia 3, Texas, Malaga approach 123.85.
123.85, bye-bye.
Perfect.
Ryanair 9 November, turn left heading 130 degrees.
Left heading 130, Ryanair simple Chile.
Radar, buenas tardes. Busy again. Always is with these events. Just wait for a gap and we'll finish setting up. 133. Radar Buenos Tardes, broadsword 02, flight level 230, inbound Yankee Echo Sierra VR.
Bravo Romeo Oscar 02, good afternoon, sir. Squawk 4422.
Squawk 4422, broadsword 02. I'm going to listen out for Bravo Romeo Oscar.
Alfa, Alfa, descenso 150, contacto en Málaga.
What's the inbound course? 133. 133. So, yeah, Cat 1 only in Malaga. So, I mean, you could arm approach, do both autopilots, you could do an autopilot. You couldn't do that in real life. You'd have to have the airport isn't fitted out, hasn't got the correct lighting, it doesn't have the correct equipment to build a Cat 3 autopilot. So, Cat 1 only.
Ryanair 3208,
minimums
heading 230 degrees.
for category C aircraft is 295.
Right
There's
heading,
your RVR, 550
230
meters.
degrees for Ryanair 3208.
Ryanair 28 Juliet Zulu turn left heading 140 degrees for the sequence.
Could get busy here, guys.
Was that 140 Ryanair?
Ryanair
Gotta avoid these events,
28
guys.
Juliet Zulu. Turn
So
left
minimums are
heading
set. So
140
the
degrees
routing guys, we're going to go from
Left 140 for Ryanair 28.
Vibas towards Granada, and then towards Tolsu, which is the initial approach fix. And then from Tolsu, it's the we'll probably get vectors. If not, it's the transition through Tolsu via Nepo onto the localizer on ILS. It's quite a sleek. Oh my goodness me! Oh, lovely. So someone's messaged me private very immaturely. Unbelievable. So, unbelievable. How do I stop that? So, basically to get onto the localizer glide slope, then descend on the 3.5 degree glide body. It's 3.5 degrees. It's very hard to see. Yeah, 3.2 degrees, sorry, 3.2 my real chart. Down to the minimums. They go around to the left turn, very low stop altitude, 2,200 feet, so be careful of that. Unbelievable. Some people are so immature. How do I stop that? Cool. Jesus Christ. Probably worth telling the controller, I guess. Unbelievable. Aviation technology called for as supervisor. How do I do that? I don't even know. I'll need to learn all this stuff in case this happens. It happens pretty much every other time I do a stream. You just get this kind of immaturity. Right, door, wall up.
Navigation direct movement.
Navigation will pay for Ryanair 28 Juliet Zulu.
Syntax error.
Ryanair November 9 November Kilo reduce speed.
Is that the VATSIM control? Yeah, I guess so. Unbelievable.
Speed 250 knots.
That's not working.
230 degrees.
Aviation technology getting his name now. Typical infantile VATSIM behaviour.
414 radius speed
And very distracting for me. Cool, so we'll just ignore it, guys. Do the start, flight start, as I said, then brief the routing, taxi chart.
955, reduce speed 250 knots, contact Malaga 123850.
Copy, please say again.
And 955, reduce speed 250 knots, contact Malaga 123850, bye-bye.
Ryanair 328. Hero, backing me up there. Thanks. Jeez. Jesus Christ. Anyway, yeah, that's always going to happen on something like this. I know one of the other streamers. He's a really human squad. That Captain Canada guy. He gets spammed all the time. And I saw him in his stream. So.
Flight number 150.
Good evening, Ryanair 7 Kilo, flight 370 inbound.
So we'll listen out to the call sign. I was just reading some of the comments there, guys. Sorry.
Ryanair
So yeah.
7 Kilo, radar identified.
Minimums are set. Start with briefed. Parking. Unbelievable. Oh. The rage is building. Unbelievable. Actually, can't I just move the text box? No, can't even do that.
Ryanair 907 November Kilo radius speed 230 knots, contact Malaga approach 123.85.
Anyway, let's not get distracted here. Landing performance, we're going to burn a ton of fuel. Wow, 64.1, that is extremely heavy. Landing weight actually, that's the extra fuel. Flap 30, order brake is set to 2 and we'll vacate. I'm trying to find this chart actually, wasn't I? Let's just use the Echo 1. So we're going to vacate here one of the exits, Echo 4, Echo 2 or Echo 1, and then taxi vacate on stands. I'm literally pressing space all the time.
Ryanair 224 hello, descent level 150.
Descent 150,
Oh, is this a regular guy, is it, doing this sort of stuff? There's always a spam. Yeah, I guess he could just make a new account and stuff. He's got absolutely nothing better in his very sad life to
Ryanair
do.
6 Charlie Alpha hello, squawk 4413.
4413, Ryanair 6 Charlie Alpha.
Bravo Romeo Oscar 02, Vibus 1 Quebec arrival runway 13, report ready for descent.
Vibus 1 Quebec, Wilco broadsword 02. Perfect, so he's given us, will tell us when ready to clear us on to the arrival, which is pretty cool. I'm just trying to read some of the comments out together. It's do wallop being spammed. But when I, dot,
Ryanair 3208 navigation direct to Mike.
Spam.
Correction, Omega Oscar, Mike India Golf Oscar.
And then his cool song.
Amigo, Ryanair 3208.
20.
Ryanair 6
there we go.
for November.
Perfect. Hopefully they'll get that. Unbelievable, yeah. I don't understand why people have time to do that. Excellent. Anyway, someone's message area identified. Ready to send. Right, anyway, so happy with the plan, guys. Got the weather. Weather's a bit iffy. It'll be the arrival. We've been cleared onto it. Then we'll descend. Initially with the procedure, I should think it'll give us vectors then. And then we'll make a left turn, turning final inbound to the ILS 13. Frequencies, courses, and minimums are set. Yeah, we'll get an update on the weather again shortly, because that was RVR of 750 meters. 750 meters. Which is very, very close to what we need to do. Malaga. Malaga approach next. So probably going to be talking to
Ryanair 3208 are we cleared any further descent below level 150?
Well, the VATSIM seems pretty clear this evening, so hear everyone reasonably well. Generation
Alright, we'll
Blur, Sway Flintstream
Flintstream
finds her, they're flying and does this just to get attention.
Ryanair 6 5 November.
Looks like he's been kicked out for now.
Go radar, hello, Ryanair 6 5 Alpha November, flight level 310.
Alex Evans, boss, will do a flight to Poland soon. Poznan or Echo Papa Lima, is that Łódź? I can't remember. Yeah, we can go back there soon. We went there a couple of months ago. We did Gdansk, Krakow, and Warsaw. So not much to see outside now, I'm afraid, guys. But we are routing inbound. There's Jerez. Inland over Spain. Cool. We've got Paul Fattori coming in with a new membership. Thank you very much for the direct donation. I've got a message from Aidan, VATSIM supervisor, responding to your assistance. How may I assist? Now, how do I message him? How do I do? If someone could let me know how to do a private message, and then I'll tell him he's gone now. I need to look all this stuff up first. Hopefully he'll be gone for now.
Hey, we're ready today to the 795 flight of the V5 V4
think how to message people privately. Dot message.
Squawk 4427 to which is 795.
AS_sub.
Ryanair 3208, contact Malaga approach 123.85.
Someone spam. What was his call sign? Oh, I can't see it now.
Approach on
what his call sign
2325,
was.
Ryanair 320.
Someone spamming my chat.
Ryanair 224, reduce speed
That's stopped for
250.
now.
250.
Thank you. Perfect. Thanks guys for that. Appreciate the help. That's all good. Right. I'm just actually, I'm not going to get the ATIS because in reality, the ATIS got by pilot monitoring, then obviously I'm not going to hear the guy give me any ATC, so I'm going to use my phone, get the latest report from Malaga. So it's still 800 metres, 800 metres RVR, that's okay for a Cat 1 ILS, but it is forecast to drop off actually. It's going to be really careful. Oh, he's back again. Unbelievable. So I'll message
Charlie Alpha, descend level 150.
dot message.
Descend 150, Ryanair 650 Alpha.
Affirm.
AS underscore sign.
Condor 5 kilo request.
Let's call sign.
Condor
is
5 Delta Kilo, apologies. Hotel India Juliet, 1 minute from arrival,
20.
runway 20, descend level 150.
There we go. So hopefully you'll get that.
It's only 150 Condor 5.
Stop it. Anyway, sorry about that, all guys. I'm trying to provide a tuitional experience for you. Reminds me like if guys who play video. I play a lot of video games. If you ever the rage quitting and stuff like that, it makes you want to rage. Crack on anyway. So yeah, what have we not really checked? One thing is fuel. So we're out with 3.6 guys. Our reserves we require for civil is 2.4. So we've got about 3.6, 2.4, 1,200 kilos. We've got 30 minutes of fuel. Now we can fly an approach, go around. We've still got 30 minutes of fuel before we need to divert. That's why we decided to take that extra fuel. So based on the fact of what we see at minimums, if he decides to, if we have to go around because of visibility and it's getting worse, we'll divert to civil. If it's close to minimums and it looked like we could get in again, we'll try a second approach, but then you get the weather. It's likely as the night goes longer, it's more likely to get foggy, but we'll see. Finax, he was in Captain Canada's live stream doing the same thing. Yeah, just haven't got that much other things to do, you know. Anyway, Alex Evans, thanks. Carcassonne circle approach would be cool to do. Yeah, we can do Carcassonne too.
Ryanair 224, sorry for the instruction, hold Omega.
Looks like he logged off. Let me know if he comes back and continues to spam. Alright, cool. Oh, he's...
Okay, holding
yeah, look at that. As
Omega.
soon as he comes back. Unbelievable.
Ryanair 28, Juliet Toulouse. Climb to flight level 160, hold Omega. Break, speed 45 approach, stop distance level 170.
Dot message. But it's not going to make any difference if he keeps it there.
Say again for Ryanair 28, Juliet, yeah.
28 Juliet Zulu. Climb flight level 160, hold Omega.
Hold Omega for Ryanair.
Anyway, I'm going to try and concentrate on what's
Station on Malaga.
14 is with you. 570 inbound to Chevrolet Crashing Granada.
He's about to say all stations in Malaga about something.
Fever
So
2714,
keep a listen out for that.
ILS runway 09, I'll report established.
ILS 09 will report established with a 2714.
Captain Canada's in the house as well. Thank you very much. Hope you're well. Yeah, this guy's found me and he's going absolutely mental.
Airspace 6 descenso nivel 200.
Yeah. Anyone who's actually doesn't know who Captain Canada is, he is someone who streams quite frequently, I think 4 times a week. Very entertaining, very good basic knowledge of the aircraft actually. I've been watching some of his streams. But yeah, he's well worth a follow. Very entertaining. Oh my god, this guy.
8660 send level 190.
Nerd is the best insult. So they should have something in the chat that recognises those words, and when they come up, they're automatically blocked. So every time I press space look,
This
he puts
Ryanair
a new message in.
3208
So,
sounds like Malaga approach is overwhelmed with missed approaches right now. Is there any way I can get
Malaga
a
approach
hold
is
and probably
overwhelmed
sort it out?
with missed approach.
Ryanair 3208, yes. I'm gonna need you to call, actually, descend level 140, direct Omega, hold this formation.
So yeah, we might be going around diverting.
Alright,
so.
down to level 140 and hold this publish at Omega for Ryanair 3208.
Perfect.
And all stations on the frequency, just be advised, the visibility in Malaga is below average, and that's why many people are going around and the approach sector is being overflowed with traffic.
There we go, very good. So he's keeping everyone informed about the
hello,
about the weather. So yeah, I mean, I should be quite interested to watch flight radar now because live agency live weather. It'd be very close for Cat 1 ILS into Malaga this evening, so you'd be getting a lot of
Ryanair
diversions.
3, Charlie Juliet, hello sir, report ready for descent.
we'll report Ryanair 3 Charlie Juliet.
So we'll request descent now as well, so we're pushing top descent.
And having said that, Papa 7537, alguna forma de que
That's because we've got a restriction at Granada to be at or below 170. Broadsword 02, request descent.
Bravo Romeo Oscar 02, descend level 200.
Send flight level 200, broadsword 02. That's set to 200 checked, and we can push.
Ryanair.
So in reality, we would. Just ignoring this now, we would, in reality, query whether there's restrictions active. 170 below. If he's cleared to 200, it's probably not the way it is. So we're going to keep going down on that one.
Papa 7537, ahora sí que insisto en eso, es mejor que aprenda a volar offline, porque ahora estamos en medio de un evento.
Steve, yes, I have ignored it. Captain Canada, I also found out a bunch of info on his little troll. He's from Russia, and he's somehow getting into the VATSIM system so that his account is never banned. Yeah, as I said, we're going to ignore that now anyway, but thanks for the heads up, man. I might come and have a look at your stream later on and say hello anyway, especially if you're going to use ZIBO.
Fully established Freebird, Houston Morpho.
Radio Day Sweet comment. Alright, so we'll attempt to approach if we have to go around 2,200 feet and we're going to bugger off to Seville.
Alright, this is
which I've actually never been to.
Yeah, do you want me to descend to flight level 0 in the hole?
Negative, I want you to stop descent level 190, land the hold at Omega and stay at that level.
So he's going to go VS.
Hold at 160, hold at 160 in the hole.
I'm not going to worry about this restriction. You know, he's probably really busy.
I'm up at 1365. You're gonna excuse me 10 times. Contact message.
AS supervisors removed him from the network. Brilliant.
Right,
well, that's good.
Message him back.
Excellent. How do I message?
¿Podría confirmar el punto de espera para el F69?
Dot. I have to always. Is it dot message? Yes.
I
can't remember how you message this. I'm hopefully seeing or appreciates that anyway. I can't remember how to message. But anyway, we're getting a little bit high, but that's because of the restriction. We're not actually technically high on profile. It's just because of the restriction at Granada. So we'll just stay at 200. But I am going to start slowing down because there are delays holding at Amigo. Go to settings, remove lines in chat. Oh look, he's back. Heart. Preferences, text window preferences. Oh, bar width. What the hell do I change that to? Oh no, probably not that. Ryanair 230 should watch a diversion tutorial. Oh, yeah, we might be needing that.
No recordarnos y nos quedamos a 16.000 pies y nos quedamos a 16.000 pies y estamos...
So land 200, we've busted the level. Well, we'll say bust level. We've ignored that restriction, but he's busy. You know, I don't want to keep pushing him. In reality, yeah, we'd have a double check with the guy and just confirm. Yeah, do you want to be level at that restriction?
3 jet 795, requesting descent.
So 3,000 feet high,
Two
that's
jet
fine.
795, descend level 180.
I'll ask if we can expect
Descending flight
holding
level
at
180
to
to jet 795.
Iberia Express 3865.
So we are. Where's our... Yeah, I think Tolsu's our initial approach fix, so if we've not been cleared beyond
3865, ascenso 199.
Tolsu, we're going to hold...
Welling 3866, just to make 100% sure you're going to hold the Omnico.
Yeah, so Tolsu's here, so I'll ask if we can anticipate holding at Tolsu.
And I'll start Welling 3866.
Excellent.
Hold it, publish the Omega.
He's busy.
Bravo Romeo Oscar 02, hold Tolsu as published, descend level 150.
Someone else in the chat is a bit of a joke. He's been booted out and reported. Unbelievable. I never had any of this stuff. Right, let's get descent, and if we can ask if we can anticipate holding at Tolsu.
Continuo para 100, aire 369. Runner 3 Charlie Juliet requesting descent.
Captain Ganner, because you used the word
Ryan,
twat, and I'm
Juliet,
afraid to
descend
booed you
level
up, but I just showed the comment there.
190, runner 3 Charlie Juliet.
Broadsword 02 request descent. Can we anticipate holding at Tolsu?
Bravo Romeo Oscar 02, I said that. Hold Tolsu as published, descend 150.
Descend flight level 150, hold Tolsu, broadsword 02. Perfect, so we can now go down to 150. As we're holding, we don't want to dive down any quick legs, we want to be conservative with the fuel, so we're just going to go vertical speed. Set 1,000 feet per minute, and we'll reduce our speed to our hold speed, be something around 220 knots. Where's the mod going?
170.
Interesting. We just had a little hiccup there, but put the hold in at Tolsu. Published hold is 259 inbound left-hand turns.
Hold Tolsu.
Descend level 160, hold Tolsu, right next 7Q.
Tolsu.
Ryanair 6 Charlie Alpha, climb level 180, hold Tolsu.
Executes. There we go. So the hold's in at Tolsu, the published hold.
Tolsu, Ryanair 6 Charlie Alpha.
Iberia Express 3865, ascenso 300.
Excellent. I'm looking at some of the chat messages, but we've got someone else spamming in the chat. He's been booted. I appreciate all this help, guys. I need to get some I've got some moderators, but they're all friends of mine and colleagues. I need to get some of you to clean up the chat.
Venga, Spanier 22, Spanier 224, cancel hold, left on 180.
Captain Kyle, now you're a moderator. you're the expert. Feel free to boot any inappropriate people. There you go.
Speedbird 2714, welcome to Granada.
Excellent. So we're going to make a left turn hold at Tolsu, and we're going to really got to be careful here, because we don't want to waste fuel holding at Tolsu, using fuel that we want to use on an approach and go around. So if we're here for another 10 minutes, I'll give him a push. Can we have an estimated approach time?
Ryanair 66 Kilo Tango.
And if he hasn't got one, we probably won't even attempt an approach, but it'd be quite cool to attempt an approach and go around anyway.
Take Kilo Tango, squawk 4461.
Oh my god, this is Jason. Alright, we'll actually booted you out. There we go.
Spanner 224, contact
Malaga. We're holding now at Tolsu. Left, right, and centre.
Thank you, good luck.
Thank you. Ryanair 8147.
Unbelievable.
Ryanair 3
Cool, anyway, we're holding it at Tolsu, guys. Well, this is Tolsu on here. It doesn't match the chart with this so much, but I hope I'm actually at Tolsu. I mean, I can only base it off the hold here, but Tolsu's based 28 off Martin, so we can double check. Apologies, or CTD issue. So someone's logging off. We've got, so we can actually double check that it's holding correctly. So we've got Martin 112.6. just going to put that as the active frequency for a second. Got the DME distance 21. I just want to check.
Ryanair 3208, cancel hold and right turn.
When we're inbound, just want to
180.
double check we've got the correct DME distance, make sure we're holding in the right place.
Cancel hold, right turn,
Perfect.
heading 10, Ryanair 3208.
Alright. So, 2 to go, sending 150 in the hold. Fuel-wise, so when you're holding like this, you're always double checking, make sure you've got sufficient fuel. Still 3.6 we're burning, obviously we're holding, so this is going to decrease. And again, we've still got at least 30 minutes of holding fuel here to at least make an attempt on one approach into Malaga. But seeing that people have been going around makes me think it's not looking that good down there.
Ryanair 147.
It says 800 metres. Oh no, it's improved actually. The RVR's 1200 metres. So it's fine. You could make an approach, but it is scattercloud at 100 feet, so you could get unlucky and be in a bit of a rebel cloud when you get to minimums and not see anything and have to go around. So I don't know if it gets holding in the correct place.
Ryanair 8147.
28 DME.
Yes, Ryanair 8147. Hello, welcome aboard. Squawk.
Yeah, it's holding correctly. It's roughly the same. The 28 DME on the turn and then a left turn, and it's saying now 29. Ooh, it's a bit off, but it's okay. I think that's because of it's the timings anyway. We need to change it to a distance, so 23 to 28, so 5 mile holds technically, instead of 1.5 minutes.
Ryanair 147 radar identified, stop descent level 200, hold.
Zero. There we go. That should now match the hold a bit more realistically.
Okay, stopping descent level 200 and hold at Tolls to Ryanair 8147.
UK Line, feel sorry for both of you to book out good content. Yeah, I know, we're doing a good service for the X-Plane community.
What altitude do you wish me to hold?
Yeah, it's a shame. It's just it's life. You're always going to get someone who's got nothing better to do except to ruin or provide content. Anyway, well, I'm still over for guys. I'm really apprehensive to see what's going to happen when we get into Malaga. Like, I think we're going to be going around.
Good evening, Ryanair 505.
Seeing that's what everyone else has been doing.
505.
So we're holding now at 150. Again, got 20. You see, this is good. You've got 24 minutes before you're going to get to your reserve fuel. So that's what that's time. Well, it's got to 18 now, so it's probably still testing with the ZIBO.
Building information uniform, testing eyes, parking to Dublin.
Oh, Ryanair 505, you're clear to Dublin.
So this guy's busy, obviously, because he's doing the Malaga centre, the centre for Spain, taking all the clearances for other airports too. Steve Mayer, Autoland. Well, if I'm going to do this, if I'm going to do this realistically, we can't do an Autoland. The aircraft is capable of doing an Autoland approach off a Cat 1 ILS, which is what this is, ILS Zulu. But you're not authorised to. You haven't got the Cat 3 minima. It's only Cat 1, Category C, 550 metres. And that's because the airport either doesn't have the approach lights, they don't have the backups, or all the settings for all the stuff to allow for an auto-land on a Cat 2 or Cat 3. So we have to fly it as a Cat 1 approach, manually with a manual landing. It's illegal. You can't do an auto-land off an air. You can do a practice auto-land. You could do an auto-land on this runway in real life as well, but you have to have good visibility.
Ryanair 320
practice, you can't do it in low visibility.
Ryanair 320, contact Malaga Bridge 123.85. It will be a little bit rink into the air.
Tim, how are you? I see you in the chat. I'm in VATSIM on this new event. Yeah, I saw in the UK they're doing Bristol to Glasgow, Edinburgh for new users, which is pretty cool.
Ryanair 28 Jules Zulu, send
so yeah, good luck with that.
150.
So again, Ryanair 28 Juliet Zulu.
28 Juliet Zulu, send level 150.
Yeah, Captain Kenneth, some people lack respect. Yeah, no. Always the same.
All stations on the frequency inbound to Malaga. Weather update. The visibility is getting worse, and we will be getting the audible but at a reduced rate.
So that's just like real life. So they get traffic. I've got traffic of TCAS. That's TCAS. Sorry, that's pretty serious in real life. Hence the distraction. So when they have low visibility procedures in force, they do have a reduced rate of approaches going into airports as well. So we might have a further delay here. I might ask this guy when he has an estimated approach time for us, but I can see there's at least one aircraft above us in the hold, and another one at 2,000 feet above us.
Bravo Romeo Oscar at 002. Cancel the hold. Again at Tulsu, leave Tulsu, heading 270.
Cancel hold after Tulsu, heading 270 degrees, broadsword 02. Now I'm going to... He said back round at Tulsu, but if I use...
And 02, you can fly direct Tulsu, you don't need to make the whole turn.
Thank you very much. Routing now direct to Tulsu, and after Tulsu 270 degrees, broadsword 02. So we're going to see here, execute, hold, execute. It should... I think it's programmed us to go... Oh no, is it going direct to Tulsu? Yeah, it is now. Cool, and then the heading of 270 degrees.
Do we check the 795 represent in the hole?
This guy is literally every time I press space to clear the message, look, watch. Oh, he's not still having. Usually he's pushing it straight away.
Okay, when we can expect
cool. So we're making that left turn, and this is it. We'll try the approach, see what happens, guys.
Welling 3866. How long are we going to be in the hole?
Perfect.
Ryan at 3866, let me just calculate that number in a second, I'll tell you straight away.
Who said ZIBO crashes the plane there? Cuticle 2, ZIBO crashes X-plane, no other plane does. What could it be? I'm not sure. I've not had any... Tell you what, I've been using X-plane now, how long for mainstreaming now? A year, and I have never had one crash. I've never had X-plane 11 crash once. That is why I also really like the sim, because it's so stable. I've got nothing fancy on it, but it's such a stable platform to use.
15 minutes.
Not a single crash. Having said that, it's going to probably crash now.
Right, okay, 15 minutes.
Hot enough to get a supervisor. Yeah, I've done that. I've reported this guy a couple of times now. He's persistent, let's say. But someone said that he's a frequent troller. If someone goes through the settings as well to remove the... If I could just move the text box out of the way, I'm going to message guys who make squawk box, see if they can disable it or remove it. That was stopping us around. Preferences.
Vectoring for runway 20, Southwest 1433.
No other way to get rid of it. Oh, you just tried to contact me, did he? 12385. I got a private message, but it went so quickly. Heading select. God, sorry guys. I'm going to contact the next frequency. I'm too busy concentrating on what this loser's doing and this other guy as well.
Right heading 350.
Right heading 350 for Ryanair 3208.
Malaga approach muy buenas, broadsword 02, flight level 150, radar heading 270 degrees. It's like, who's that?
What's the call sign again?
It's the broadsword 02, Bravo Romeo Oscar 02, flight level 150, heading 270 degrees, squawk 4422.
Bravo Romeo Oscar 02, Malaga approach, good afternoon. Good evening, Inspector Alice, approach number 13, radar contact, this flight level, descent 5,000 feet, QNH 1019er. The conditions in Malaga are really bad, it's below minimums right now, and you need to plan for alternate airport in case of missed approach.
That's copied. Descend 5,000 feet, QNH 1019, vectors ILS 13. We'll attempt an approach, and if we have to go around, we will be diverting to Seville. Broadsword 02. Perfect. So that's all copied. QNH 1019, 5,000 feet is set. Level change. Set QNH 1019. Passing 15,100. 5,000 feet, and the standby altimeter is set.
Alright, down to 5,000 and continue right turn heading 140 for Ryanair 3208.
Cool. So a couple of things that we need to do to get rid of this guy. Change my chat size, contact VATSIM, contact Squawk Box, see if they can edit the text box so it can be disabled.
135 Iberia 3.
Theo Aura, you're so lucky I'm still in the hold. Well, I was in the hold for about 10 minutes, but it seems to be sequenced quite nicely here. Oh Christ, I don't know where I am because I'm going to be really high. I'm really not concentrating because of this flipping
Ryanair 28 Juliet Zulu, my approach, good evening.
So we're going to use speed brake and we'll go back. Didn't give us a speed, did he? I'm just going to go to 50. So this will give us a good rate of descent as we accelerate to 250 knots. You probably have your champagne up your nostrils though, that sort of pitch down, a little aggressive. But guys, don't be surprised with high rates of descent at 4,000 or 5,000 feet, especially when you're accelerating in descent. That is normal. And then it usually stabilises at the speed, but it was a little bit steep there. Unbelievable.
Ryanair 3208, turn right heading 110 degrees clear, it's approach number 13.
Perfect, so we're ready to get our profile back, 34 miles,
Right heading 110,
so yeah, a tiny bit high, about 1,000 feet higher or so I'd say. Flight sim, have you walloped and reported him? Yes we have, tried that. Dot wallop. I think that's how you do it, or does that... All supervisor, bra 1820, they're going to think, what's that? Dot wallop, bra 1820, keep spamming chat. You can see at www.flightdeck2sim.com. Please remove. Hello, what's he doing? He's spamming me consistently. Unbelievable. Right, I'm really not concentrating, guys. Sorry, I'm not providing a seamless experience with you here. Seatbelt should be on, 4 lights, APUs, logo on. Set seatbelts on, recall. Yeah, now I'm not concentrating at all. Now I'm getting the whole profile. Sorry, guys. So this is why we have a sterile cockpit, because you can only concentrate then on the approach and stuff. I'm getting very low now. Vertical speed 500 feet per minute. I hope this guy's not forgotten about me.
Ryanair 28 Juliet Zulu, you're going to be a little high for your approach. Make a right turn.
Units, passengers will be pissed if you have to divert. It's about 4 hours in a bus between Seville and Malaga. Yeah, they would be.
Bravo Romeo Alpha 02, turn left heading 140 degrees.
Left heading 140 degrees, broadsword 02. Perfect, so that's going in the right direction.
Right heading 310 for Ryanair 28.
So we really just gone shallow on the vertical speed because I wasn't concentrating on the vertical profile. I got myself a little bit low, so we're just going to go 500 and keep descent nice and slow. We're not under any direct speed control either, so we can keep the speed up to 250. We're not anywhere over here, look, but we're under radar control, so we don't have to worry about the terrain. Well, we always have to be aware of it, but he's not the responsibility. Right, so we get the ILS tune now as well, 1095. I've not even looked at the weather, but this could be interesting.
See you later. Ryanair 3208.
I'm just refreshing it here.
Good evening,
it's dropped off to 1200 meters. It's still, there's no approach ban. You can make an approach. The RVR is okay. It's the low cloud base that's going to probably shoot us in the acid. So we'll see what happens. So very low on profile, so just 500 feet per minute.
Ryanair 28 Juliet Zulu, turn right heading 100 degrees.
It's outside, but can't see anything there, so it's not much point going for an external view.
Right heading 100 for Ryanair 28 Juliet.
Got a slight tailwind on the approach as well, nothing too bad.
02, reduce speed to 200 knots.
Reduce speed 220 knots, broadsword 02. There we go. So 220 knots is set. Hot Knife Gaming, how do you get the Navigraph charts to display on the EFB, mate? So you have to go up here, plugins, and install AviTab, which is a function which allows the implementation of Navigraph charts into the EFB. And then you need a Navigraph chart subscription, which is well, I had a deal with them, so I promote the charts, so I don't have to get the subscription. But it's worth the investment anyway. It's about £7-8 a month or something.
02, in case of a missed approach, just plan for Northern Airport in advance. Things are not going to get any better.
That's all copied. We'll plan an approach. The RVR sees 700 meters. We need 550, and we'll plan for the missed approach. Standard missed approach. Can you confirm?
Standard missed approach ILS 13 Yankee.
Roger. We'll fly ILS Yankee missed approach in the event of a go around broadsword 02. Alright, you said Yankee. So
19 to you, Ryanair 28 Julius Zulu.
Well, yeah, same thing for me. Or Ryanair 28 Julius.
So we got the wrong approach. It's not a big deal. It's same ILS.
28 Julius Zulu. Clear the ILS
make
approach
sure
Yankee,
ILS Yankee 1 2.
ILS Yankee 413 for Ryanair 28 Julius.
Where are we in sequence?
Browser 02, heading 100, clear the ILS approach Yankee, Romer 13.
Left heading 100 degrees on that heading, cleared ILS Yankee 13, broadsword 02. So he sent us through the localizer. It's all looking good. We can arm approach now. A little bit far out to arm approach. I'm still trying to find the Yankee approach here.
Right,
this is all going to pop. ILS Yankee 13.
Left turning on
there we go. So 133 is the course, all the same. The missed approach though is exactly the same. Zilvi, left turn 2200, and then we'll get out of there, go to Seville if we have to dive someone's coming in with donation and tip. Thank you very much. That's Raja Laxo. Having a look here on the. Love the way you said my name. Oh, hold on, I just need to find the Streamlabs app here. Sorry, I'm so amateurish when it comes to streaming all this stuff. Raja Laxo, 15 Norwegian kroner. Sorry. Love the way you said my name in chat. Rodney, my new nickname. Well, thanks for the donation. Anyway, localizer's coming in. Localizer capture set, runway heading 133.
Right, 280.
So I've definitely got the weather on, haven't I? Yeah, that's live, but it currently says here right now, clouds non-reported 13 degrees. I mean, I could get in illegally because the weather's not updated, but how do I get the... Yeah, that I can see the runway, but obviously the weather's not updated. Hold on. I just want to make sure this is all correct. How do I re-download the weather?
Ryanair 28 Juliet.
Left and Golf Delta Malaga Tower 150, Shannon 72 Charlie Bravo.
Weather control, live weather is active.
Ryanair
Switch to live weather. I really want to have live weather. Why is that not updated? Honestly, I've got it all set correctly.
166 don't contact tower. 160 contact tower. Ryanair 28 Juliet.
What is the tower frequency?
Ryanair 7 Kilo,
5,000
feet, QNH 1019er.
Descend 5,000 feet, 1099 or 7 Kilo.
So as soon as we go around, I'll just log off the VATSIM. Oh, then.
02, release speed to 160 knots, to the 4 DME.
160 till 4 DME, broadsword 02. Perfect, so we've been cleared here. I've not been concentrating on the CDA, I've been concentrating on this image here guy and the weather, but it seems like the weather's updated now. So we're going to give him 160 till 4.
Spain 69 por la izquierda rumbo 090.
And here comes the glide slope as well. Almost managed a CDA. Not quite. There's glide slope capture. Just want to get flat 5 out because I want to make sure we've got our speed for our guy. Missed approach altitude 2,200 feet set.
100 clear as approach runway 13.
Left heading 100, clear as approach runway 13 right near 7 Kilo.
Awesome. So let's see what happens, guys. This could be sketchy.
Good,
If we can't see anything, we've just got to go around, guys. That's the plan.
120 heading to.
We're not going to mess around. We're going to do it just like we would in real life. Fuel-wise, yes, we'd always be looking at that. So we've got 3.4. We've got we're fat on fuel, which is good. We've got at least 25 minutes before we need to decide to divert to spill, but we're going to do it anyway straight away.
Sending flight level 8, you're
This guy
expecting
is-
ILS 132 to 1095.
Perfect.
Rotor 02, contact Malaga Tower 118.13, adios.
Tower 118.13, broadsword 02, Katenga Mondia. I think he said 13, didn't he?
Ryanair 7 kilo,
Say
you're going to be too close to
11813?
that traffic.
I thought it was 15.
Cancel approach clearance and turn now left.
11813.
2500.
Oh, I don't even know what I'm doing. I'm just, my brain is shagged.
Air 70 cancel the
There we
approach
go.
for Air 7 kilo.
It's 15, surely, because that's what it says on there. Oh dear. I need to slow down for this guy as well. I'm going too fast.
Fence flight level 70.
2500.
There we go.
Clear land, runway
Flat
28 for Ryanair.
10, and we need to go
28.
gear 160. Well, he wants a higher speed, 160, so we'll just maintain the speed here. Don't forget the landing gear. No, I won't. Here we go. We're into cloud. We'll check in with Malaga Tower now. Malaga Tower, we went as broadsword 02, established ILS 13 at 9 miles. Request latest RVR. If he has such a...
Calling, crossing on the message, please.
Ooh, what was it? Was that? It was broadsword 02 checking in, established ILS 13 at 8 miles. Probably
Ross 02, would I reduce minimum approach speed?
minimum approach speed, broadsword 02. So gear down, flap 15, match speed, landing channels 2, flap start switches continuous. At the end, oh no, what's the temperature? 12 degrees, don't know that. So start switch, recall, check, speed brake on, green light. Landing gear down, 3 green, auto brake is set to 2, and he wants minimum approach speed with flap 30 now at match speed. So, looking a bit soupy out there. I can't see a thing. Mark picks, why don't you do an auto land? Well, I could, but it's not authorised to do an auto land in Malaga. It's Cat 1 only, so I could cheat and do that. But I want to show you exactly what I would be doing if I was flying into Malaga right now. So just waiting for the landing clearance, all stabilised. My head is such a jumble because I've been trying to fly, trying to ignore this guy, trying to look some stuff up on the chart as well. So I'm sorry if I've been blurting out and talking gobbledygook the last 20 minutes. So if we go around, we'll get ATC to hand us off towards Seville, but then we'll log off the network because this is getting a little bit of a...
Wings 3, correction 267 before landing traffic type 0.738, line up and wait. Runway 13 behind.
Oh, what? Line up and wait? Are you joking? 3 miles? Come on.
behind the landing traffic.
Come on.
1000.
Oh yeah, it's me. For me, man. Thank God for that. I thought there was someone else in front for me. I thought it was typical Spanish ATC waiting for another aircraft to land.
Q8 Yankee Zulu
Oh, well, I'm visual. Oh well, I don't know if this guy's is due to active sky, but I can see the runway. I mean, yeah, they wouldn't. This is right. We're gonna land, guys. Anyway, I've got VATSIM live weather on as well, so it should be
Approaching
updated.
runways.
Q8 Yankee Zulu, contact Malaga.
Not being cleared to land yet.
21.7.
What have we? I need to double check.
1.7 for Ryanair 28, please.
Broadsword 02, just confirm cleared to land. Approaching 1 mile.
3.
Yeah, bro, 02, wind 130, clear to land, runway 13, sorry.
No problem, cleared to land runway 13. We are visual, broadsword 02. We wouldn't usually say that, but right, we'll disconnect.
Minimums.
You can see the RVR actually. It is a bit foggy, yeah. So I think that's active sky probably more than anything. But you can see it's a bit hazy. So disconnected, speed's good. No winds.
50, 40, 30.
Check,
20,
close, hold the attitude.
267, line up
There we
and
go,
wait.
that was a good landing.
13 now.
Speed brakes up, reversers.
Line up on runway 13, Mr. 65.
We've got reversers at 59, 60%, 100 knots. 80 knots, cancelling the auto brake now, manual braking. 60 knots, idle reverse. And we'll take the high speed exit here. So I've got all the charts out for Seville on my iPad ready to divert. We didn't have to in the end. Wicked. Guys, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Malaga, where it is currently 7:30 in the evening. This is Echo 2.
Visibility 700 feet, therefore takeoff runway 13.
Just about vacated the runway.
Takeoff runway 13, Cockpit, whatever you're interested.
Perfect. So we can't go too much, otherwise we're going to be in the Ryanair's APU. We'll bring it to a stop there. So it's a bit sketchy. Probably wouldn't get takeoff clearance. We're just about off the runway. There's no hatch line there. But yeah, we'll contact ground here.
Procedure 2, contact Malaga ground 121.7, bye-bye.
121.7, broadsword 02. Thanks for the service, even going. Cool, so 121.7. Excellent. And he's still here.
Alpha Golf 9, stand 50.
Alpha span 9 for 50 for Ryanair. 28.
So flaps up, speed brake stowed. Broadsword 02 to Malaga ground. Good evening. Vacated 13 at Echo 2.
02, good day. Continue taxi via Golf 5, stand 26.
Via Golf 5 for stand 26, Broadsword 02. So that's straight ahead, guys. I've got the chart open already in front of me, so I'm a little bit more familiar. But here's gate 5, and then stand 26. It's going to be on the left in this gate here. So we'll start
ready for push and start.
So when you're flying online with VATSIM and stuff like this, make sure you've always got your charts open, your taxi charts, just like we'd have in real life, especially if you're unfamiliar, so you know exactly where you're going.
Last traffic, can you repeat both?
This Malaga scenery, as well, if you're interested, is completely free from someone called Ash J. Something around it. It's in the video description below. It's a really nice freeware scenery, really matches Malaga well. So,
and not to make 65, stand by for pushback, expect delay and non-delay because of visibility conditions.
So yeah, I'm not sure, I mean, the RVR's fine down here, but I think that's probably more active sky. I have got live weather and everything's on, so I'm not sure why it's not correctly indicating everything. So here's gate 5, and 26 is in the corner here on the left. So we'll get the APU up.
Malaga ground, this is Scandinavian 1818, gate 28, ready for push and start.
So really careful with the wingtip clearance. Oh, a British Airways jump. Oh no, I think that's static. That's a static aircraft. 26 is tucked up here in the corner.
Stand by for push and start up, I will call you.
1818 standing by.
And we'll pop the APU on the bus. I'll get back to some of your questions shortly, guys. Probably forgotten half the cleanup. There's 26. And now let's make the turn on to stand. Here we go. Callum, Happy Australia Day beers flowing all day. Get them up, y'all. Brilliant. Well, I didn't know what Happy Australia Day is, but I saw someone else said that. Whoever came in with the donation, stand by. I'll just taxi on to stand, and I'll get straight back to you because it's on the Streamlabs one. Turn these off as well.
Speedbird 455 Malaga.
Excellent.
Malaga 0455.
And there we go. Ooh. I think plenty of captains done that before. You just stop a little bit too early and then you have to add thrust. There we go, stop. Alright, parking brake set. 2 blues, 1 reds, engines dead. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Malaga, where the local time is 7:40 in the evening, spammers on board, the whole lot. But what a flight anyway. It's a shame that it was actually a little, the weather was a little bit more sketchy. It could have been a bit more interesting, but I did 2 reasonably good landings today. Anyway, we'll do the full shutdown checklist today. So pumps off, oh yeah, release the passengers, window heat off. Perfect. Oh yeah, I forgot to put the strobes to steady again. That's twice today. And let's have a little look outside here as well. Awesome. So yeah, very busy into Malaga, but oh Christ, we just got a is that an MD-11 or a 777? That's quite an interesting stand for a 777 to go on. Anyway, but we're here nicely in safe and in one piece. I'm just going to say thanks to the guy, and then we'll log off,
5038, Malaga.
and then we'll answer some questions.
Europa 503, go ahead.
Actually, he's pretty busy. I'll just log off anyway. Cool.
Europa
So,
5038,
squawk bot, disconnect. There we go. And that guy is gone for now. We'll find out what happens. Weather radar off as well. Yeah, otherwise, the ground crew will grow an extra testicle. Right, let's have a look at some of the questions I missed on the approach. Matthew said, good luck. We're counting on you. Single flying is challenging. You're quite right there, Wojtek. We got in there, big view, dim the cockpit lights, pilot man on. Yeah, you should dim them on approach. 10 out of 10 nets, it wasn't too bad a landing. Greaser, etc, etc. The big D298, do you ever use Pro ATC? No, I don't. We've got, what else? Callum Keys, pretty sure this has been asked before, mate. But what's your field of view settings for X-Plane? I will show you, my friends. If I click this, general, I've got it set to, oh, where is it? Graphics. 86.38 degrees apparently, but that's what I have it set to with what I'm happy with the view there. What else have we got here? Boss said, very nice flights today, really enjoyed it. Yeah, me too, minus the guy trying to troll us, but not a problem. Carl, I have to get my K9 AFK for about 30 minutes or so, very good. Happy Australia Day, I've read. Boobib, you can't have Active Sky running with VATSIM live weather. You need to disable VATSIM weather. Ah, okay. I'll do that on the next stream then. Fabi, the police are ready, waiting to disembark the route passengers spamming you. Someone is jogging on a tarmac. Very good. Forgot APU generator. Got that on the bus now, haven't I? That's all good. Pilot Molon, do you know Mentor Pilot? Not personally, but I have heard of him. How do you update your Navigraph AirAC? With the Navigraph Charts Updater app as well. And Starcloney finishing off with Let's See the Replay, which is a great way to end the stream as well. So it will be at night time, but we'll see what we can do. There we go, 3 hours and 25 minutes of replay. But we'll get the view from the passenger seats at least. Perfect.
25.
So yeah, Active Sky, I guess, conflicts with the VATSIM weather because it definitely, yeah, you could. I don't know if it's replaying the weather, but I've still got it attached. But you can clearly see the runway below the approach. So I'll get that changed for the next stream as well. So sorry about that. There we go. Let's get a little bit close to the threshold. And this is the threshold view, which is difficult to see at night time, but nonetheless. Daniel Norris, thanks again for a great stream. You're most welcome. Nice. You can't see anything at night time, which is a great shame, but it was okay. Yeah, a tiddly bit fur, but I'll take it. Okay, guys, so what we'll do, we'll put you back in the window view, the one where you can see the terminal at least, and then you view the replay from the passenger's perspective. I'd like to firstly say thank you to everyone that watched. I really enjoyed that stream today, minus the last half an hour, 45 minutes or whatever, where this individual had nothing better else to do than spam the chat. So I'll actually take the time to see if we can get that removed and message some people, but it would seem that some other streamers are getting affected by that as well. Anyway, I don't want to talk about that. Guys, thank you very much for everyone that tipped and donated, became a member. Next stream won't be for at least for a week or so, because I am going to be going away for a while, flying from a new base for a short while, but I will be commuting home whilst that's going on. Thank you again, and I will all see you on the next live stream. Goodbye for now.